Woo-hoo-hoo! Here we are, folks. PulseX live show. Hope you guys are going to have a good day today, man. Oh, man. We've got two big pieces of news, of course. Liquid loans finally launched day one. And, of course, the last day of the PulseX volume multiplier. So pretty cool. Day 50, was it 54, is it? Yeah. And man, oh, man. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned, folks. We're going to talk about that. We're obviously going to get into the Hex price and do a Hex price review. The DMIs as well, and also get into PulseX later. So we're going to go liquid loans first, PulseX, and then, of course, we're going to get into the Hex price chart after that, and we're going to talk about some strategies as well. So hopefully that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into the chat, though. Say hello, make sure the audio is all up and running, and get into that. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell, and, of course, share this channel video. Very helpful. If you're watching this after the live stream, of course, hit the put your comment in there. I always respond to all the comments, and so do that as well. So cool. That sounds like the audio is running. That sounds good to me. The audio is up and running, so very cool. Hey, so let's get into the chat, and then we're going to get into liquid loans launch. We're going to cover as much as possible about that as fast as possible, so it should be pretty fun. Then we'll get into the PulseX results live and for a day. What day is it? Yeah, day 53. That's going to be pretty good. We got the tiers in the house first, and I call it cheetah time. Yeah. So there's a bit of competition there, getting in the chat there first. But Fish Tank did get dethroned today. But hey, this is the way it goes. I thought that was unbelievable outcome. Of course, I never would have thought the Fish Tank would have not come in first. This is the way it goes. It happens eventually, doesn't it? Even to the best of them. So nice there. We got Crypto B4 in the house. Woohoo! Another day. One sack in the books. Yeah, the crypto really is quite amazing. The trend there. Now, because this is, we've got the SEC coming down on, BlockFi and other projects like that, and trying to tackle some of the bigger DeFi projects. It really is a great foresight from Richard Hart, isn't it? To think about the Howey test, to think about how to best do these capital raises, where they're not capital raises because you have no expectations for the work of others under the Howey test, and people are sacrificing. So very cool. You get no expectations of work. And, of course, we've seen, obviously, people associated to Richards have seen that direction, and more projects are coming into the play like that. Once again, though, you have to use your noggin. You have to use your head. And, of course, you can't speculate. You can't gamble. You've got to try and play the most probabilistic outcome with the best returns and so forth. So, as you know, this is my big statement about strategy. The big strategy is this. The Richard Hart projects are number one, numero uno, right? And those are the ones you want to stick by. Obviously, that's my strong suggestion to you. Obviously, not investment advice, but once again, I don't see other projects beating out Pulsechain, Pulse. I don't see other projects beating out PulseX, right? So I don't see other projects beating out Hex over time. So just to take that into account. So when we're looking at these other projects like liquid loans, which I like a lot, as you guys know, I think it fits into the ecosystem. I think it has good use case. We've got a demonstrated example from on Ethereum, Liquidity. Which it's forked, good stuff like that. But I don't think any of these projects are as good as they are, and I think Liquid Loan is one of the better ones. Obviously, they have a professional team running, and of course a proven project already, etc. So, and I think it fits well into pushing the asset prices of Richard Hart's projects as well. Just another additional demand side and a way of earning there. So, all that said, of course, so that's my position on that. My suggestion just for you to think about. Obviously, that is Richard Hart's projects are number one numero. I don't see any token beating them out by a country mile. If you're out for the big X's, as I said in previous videos, I'm looking to accumulate. I'm looking to look for the dips. And if their plebs are willing to sell up for a couple X's, I'm willing to come in and buy the opportunities when the market does any of its parabolic, pullback. So that's what the whales will be looking for. And I want to accumulate the volume that way. So there we are, folks. That is pretty cool. I think liquid loans offers, in particular, a way of not having to say PLS, doing a sensible collateral, 1,000%, 10% borrow, picking up a bit more volume that way. I like that kind of strategy. You can either keep the stuff on the platform and earn from the dual token system with the loan token as well. So there is a really nice little balance out there, right? Increasing the volume of what I think Richard Hart's are going to be the biggest fundamentals. So I just want to say that from the outset, just so you're not confused, the fact that I'm talking about liquid loans, or maybe I'll talk about one or two other projects as we move into Pulsechain going live. Just wanted to be that up front. And number one numero uno the Richard Hart project by country mile, But let's get into it. I think if you're going to consider, as I said, you can do collateral stuff, pick a bit more volume of Richard Hart projects through this project. And of course, the second use case is it's also good for diversifying your portfolio a bit, even though I've just argued that the returns, while they'll be good, won't be anything like the Richard Hart projects, in my view, my perspective, my opinion only. So hopefully that helps, just to put that up front. It's very important, I think. Let's jump over to some of the comments here. We've got EZ in house. Woo-hoo-hoo. Smash the likes, says Easy. Absolutely. And Dingo Wolf says smash the likes. Yep, absolutely. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's now's in the chat. We've got good stuff going on there. I love all these Hex Token channel members, all these Pulsechans, all these Hexkins, and PulseXicans, of course. Sandeep's in the house. Lots of support from India. Big shout out to Sandeep as always. And what up, family, says Human X Trafficker. And we've got Kibi83 in the house. Boom. What's that nice little rose there or something like that? I can't actually tell what that is. Can't quite see that one. Alex Fame says, woohoo, Hex Token in the house. That's the way we go. We're rocking it up on the Sunday DMV. So Sunday here in New Zealand at 5:12 p.m. and it's super hot outside. And it's nice to be out. After this, I'm going to definitely get outside. So after we do the live stream, it's going to be a bit of fun there. Snake Eyes says, existed to watch the stream. Hey, nice one. I like that. That's pretty powerful stuff there, Snake Eyes. And we've got Hex Force in the house, Liquid Loan Sacrifice, woohoo! And totally agree, RH is #1, says Big Hex, and that's right. And let's not get confused about that. Like I said, I think there's good market fixed products and there's bad market fixed products. There's people that are upfront, people not upfront. So you really got to start taking all those features and you got to look for probability, right? There's two things, probability of success. And of course, number 2 is the timing. And timing's the trickier one, right? Timing is always trickier. So that's why we do our Pulsechain milestone chart that we've got on this channel, just to help keep all that timing in frame with the latest information. So we'll check that out later in the live stream too, the Pulsechain timeline. Michael Keith says, morning, how many wallets are holding all liquid staked Hex? A tonner. And Dingo Wolf says that Hex just took a dip 5 minutes ago, time to buy. Yeah, well, we'll get to the Hex price later on the chart. I'm really not going to focus on that immediately. That's the last topic is the Hex price, so we'll get to that later and have a look at all that, check that out. So nice to see Dingo Wolf in the house keeping us abreast of that. Anyway, let's check out, folks. That's the introduction. Let's get in. I'm going to put timestamps as usual. I think I might have forgot timestamps in 1 or 2 videos recently. Just got so busy, but we'll get into it. So here is the video, folks, of Liquid Loan's official launch, and this was about 15 hours ago, something like that. Maybe about 15 hours ago. So let's play that as well. Here we go.
I'm here with the Liquid Loans team. I have Jexa, Jesse. I'm sure you know who they are. But of course, we have Christian, the CEO, the man of the moment. I'm going to hand the floor over. He's got a very, very important announcement for us.
Well, welcome, guys. We've all been patiently waiting for this. We now are happy to announce the official launch of the Sacrifice for Liquid Loans. The important thing to remember, guys, though, is that if you choose to sacrifice, remember that you must have no expectation of profit derived from the work of others.
Listen, we've looked at a number of stablecoin protocols, and
so that there pretty much was the opening from Kristen, the CEO. This whole video is there. I won't play the whole video, just wanted to play that little section of the official opening. So definitely check out. There's really cool topics there. You can actually go down and we can actually see. We just watched the sacrifice announcement part at the top there. But there is a talk about the stable coin problem, multiple bonus introductions, longer pays better bonus, the double check your sacrifice address. So there's those key things to watch. Definitely check that out on this video. It is on Liquid Loans channel. Liquid Loan Sacrifice phase is live. And that was about 15 hours ago. So we're going to check out all the results on that. It is pretty cool. So let us actually, I'm going to hope I've actually got that Ethereum address up actually and running. Let me just double check that I've got that. Let me copy that over. We're going to have to open that up. Let me just go pick that up. I don't actually think I actually got that one open, which is kind of crazy. But we'll make sure that I have if I haven't. So I'm not sure where I put that address. There we are. We're going to post that over there. So cool. Let me just jump out of this one. I've got to remove that screen. Yeah, we're going to share this latest one here. Let's go. Bam. And there we are. All right. So I'm going to paste that in the chat there in case you want to watch the full video. There it is there. Bam. You can watch the full one there of Liquid Loans. We're going to jump out of there now and close that down. So you can already see it's opened already. And of course, there is on the ETH chain, there's 3 million $3,182,000. So we're going to do an expanded view on there. There you can see. So they're only accepting stable coins, remember. So they're really you're sacrificing for the for decentralized coins. You want decentralized algorithm coins, so you're sacrificing in favor of those rather than centralized coins, kind of thing. We'll get to that a bit later. But here is the sacrifice at the moment. We've got USD C's in there, Tether, DAI, and Binance. Now, someone sent some Hex over there, but that's not to be accepted. So I'm not sure how they're going to manage getting Hex there. Hex is not accepted on the sacrifice. So just let you know that. So that's $3.2 million on the ETH side. I do think they have a Binance side as well, but we're going to check that out. But definitely 3.2 million so far straight out of the gate. Now, I do know that Liquid Loans was there right at the beginning. The Magic Carpet Ride team was right there at the beginning of the launch about 15 hours ago. I'm pretty sure they sent something probably in excess of $1 million to that sacrifice address already. So they're easily probably number one whale sitting in the Liquid Loan sacrifice at this stage. It's the Magic Carpet Ride, the pool that we've been talking about over the PulseX sacrifice. And of course, they have got huge popularity now. And very interesting stuff there. So cool. That is pretty much the balance at the moment. So this is the official address, of course, OX2E 48C9. But there's a trick to all the sacrifice. You can't just send stuff there. You can, but you've just got to take account. If you wanted to get the longer pace better bonus, you've got to do a specific type of sacrifice. And so we will get into that shortly. We'll come back to this page as well. Let us go. Let me know in the chat if you've already sacrificed, because that'd be really cool to know that. So here it was. I posted this about 14 hours ago. Let me just update this to make sure, or 16 hours ago now. So I've updated the 16 hours ago. Great news. Liquid Loans sacrifice phase is now open. I just happened to be there when they went live. So I happened to watch it. I was just luck of the draw to see them do the live video. And of course, that's why I posted this immediately out to the subscribers on this channel. So you got it at the beginning, which is pretty cool. And it's great to be able to, pass on that information to you guys straight off the bat. Great news. Liquid Loan sacrifice is now open. Official announcement video, which we just watched a little bit of. You can join the Liquid Loans referral program and get a 5% bonus if you use my referral links in the video description. There's an important please read statement. If you choose to sacrifice, you must have no expectation of the work derived from the work of others. And of course, all information required in relation to the sacrifice, including bonuses, multipliers, and duration, are outlined on the website. This is the website here, the sacrifice.io. You've always got to check that you're on the right website. Of course, you've always got to check out that you're sacrificing to the right official address. And of course, you need to follow the instructions for this, because there's a longer pays better bonus, and that actually affects the US dollar amount that you actually sacrifice in terms of the cents. The cents indicates how long you want to actually do your sacrifice for. So to get the bonus long term, this is the third bonus. It's a bit different from the way PulseX is run. Obviously, there's a bit of description there and social media for the site and the link there, so you can definitely check that out. Now, if you use the referral link in the video description, you also can get yourself a referral link. You can share that, and you get a 5% bonus for what everyone sacrifices over 5%. They also get a 5% bonus. It's a win-win there. If you get over 10 people that have successfully qualified over $500 sacrificed and use your referral code, then you also get 10% of your own sacrifice from your wallet that you use. So pretty cool there. All right, so cool. Let's jump forward to Liquid Loans. Obviously, this is Liquid Loans. And, of course, we've gone through this many times, so I'm not going to go through it in too detail. But, of course, if you want to join the referral program, hit the link in the video description, and then you'll get to the referral program. You'll actually be able to scroll all the way down to the bottom, read all the details of it, of course, just as what I just summarized it for you. But there we are. Secure your link, of course, and then you'll just have to say, I understand, then connect your wallet that you want to use for your referral address. You can use a new wallet. It's probably the best way of doing it. Just use a new wallet and connect that up, and it will give you a different link. It won't use your wallet for the link. It'll have a special code for that for the link, just like as you see. My one there has got this cool HTML or URL for the referral code. So it's nice and private. So you can use that, and that's the way you go. All right, so cool. We'll jump forward to that, and of course you get a 5% bonus. Let's jump over to the actual sacrifice address. This is it here. So the sacrifice, and I'll post this in the link here. Let me post this. Bam. I'm going to post the actual link here. Let's post that. Bam. Let me just, right. So that, I've already posted that one in. Let me just make sure. I think I might have lost it now. That's typical. All right. Let me open this up again and post it over there. I understand. Got to make sure I do the right control and CV and all that. Let's post that. Bam. All right, cool. All right, got through that. Finally got through that. That was a bit of a hassle. So here's the official sacrifice, of course. The sacrifice is now open, started 19th of February at 12 p.m. UTC. Important disclaimer, if you choose a sacrifice, you must have no expectations of the work derived from the work of others. So this has got 3 bonuses to sacrificing. It's got earlier pays better and a bigger pays better, just like Richard Hart often uses. And then, but it's also got a third component, longer pays better. And so instead of like a staking sacrifice, you can actually do a staking sacrifice ladder, which is the better way, rather than a staking ladder, a sacrifice ladder. You can do that. In other words, you can sacrifice over different periods of time. You get different bonuses, and those coins, those PulseX the loan tokens will come to you at different stages over that period of time. So political statement, you may wish to sacrifice to make this political statement in the act of free speech. Like-minded community members may show their disapproval and rejection of corporate-owned censorable centralized stablecoins by sacrificing them in the hope that a different community-owned trustless algorithmic protocol will emerge on the Pulsechain network. So it's quite a handful there. Basically, that's what you're sacrificing for there. Let's get on to the points, of course. This is when you actually sacrifice. Sacrifice points will be awarded on the following basis. Sacrifices should be made on the Ethereum mainnet or the Binance Smart mainnet. So only those two. Ethereum mainnet or the Binance Smart Chain mainnet. Mainnet. Let's say mainnet. There we are. So finally got that out. What a tongue twister. All right, Ethereum mainnet or the Binance Smart Chain. Let's just say that way. Only USDC, USD Tether, TUSD or TrueUSD, DAI, and a BUSD will count towards the sacrifice points on those chains. That's why someone sent Hex, as you saw. And they probably shouldn't there. Where was the Hex go? Where did it go? No, back here. I think I've even lost it. Have I lost that page? I did too. That's crazy. All right, so there we are. So that's what you can sacrifice. You sacrifice your sacrifice must come from your wallet. You can't do an exchange. Very important. You can't sacrifice from an exchange. You can only do your wallet. You must hold the private keys to that wallet and not from an exchange, i.e. Coinbase. Each stable coin sacrifice will be awarded up to 10,000 sacrifice points based on when you sacrifice. So there we are. So $1 is 10,000 points, pretty much. Important. This is not so. That's true for the first 10 days. That it's and then it starts going up in price 5% per day, just like it does in PulseX. Important. This is not an investment of any kind. The sacrifice points have zero monetary value. You must understand that. So. Any points awarded to you as part of the sacrifice do not provide you with any legal equitable or any other rights in relation to liquid loans. And of course, for the avoidance of doubt, you are not entitled to any voting equity or other rights would ordinarily attach to a share of a company. So just make sure that's key. So here is the way it works, folks. These are the bonuses when you do the sacrifice. You got the multipliers. Earlier pays better, the EPB. There will be a period of 10 days at the beginning. And of course, we're in day 1, where the sacrificer may receive a maximum of 10,000 points per stable coin sacrificed. So it's basically $1 sacrifice. The sacrificed rate will then increase by 5% a day thereafter. So very similar, same as as Pulsechain from that point of view. PulseX, I should say, and Pulsechain. For example, on day 11, 10,000 points will equal 1.05 stable coins. So $1.05 will be 10,000 points on day 1. And of course, here is day 11. It starts going up the curve at 5% per day. On day 12, 10,000 points will be $1.1025 and so on. So this keeps going up until it's way over there. So you've got the stable coins required and the sacrifice day in place. There's 30 days in sacrifice. First 10 days, $1 equals 10,000 points pretty much. And then it keeps going 5%. So take that into account. You got 10 days to sacrifice pretty much before it starts getting more expensive. The second component is bigger pays better. All sacrifices will be totaled and stacked, ranked by sending address. A multiplier. So this is like PulseX as well. A multiplier will be applied for each point, starting from the largest sacrifice point address to the smallest. The top address may earn 2.5x on their first point. The bottom address may earn 1x points to their last point, similar to how Pulsechain and PulseX sacrifice have been run. So you could see that the Magic Carpet Ride team at the top there, if they've done over 1 million, they're probably most likely number 1. And I said it to you, I reckon that they're going to be probably number 1 or 5 or 3 or something. But I was very confident they had a good chance of being number 1. But you just never know who's going to come and sacrifice. You just don't know. But I had a big feeling that they were going to do pretty well. And of course, they've got 10 days to go to really get their position solidified at the top of the X's there. The third component, this is different from PulseX and Pulsechain. The longer pays better. So we've seen earlier pays bigger, bigger pays better, and now we've got longer pays better. Those are the three different things you have to take into account when you're sacrificing. Sacrifices will be willing to delay gratification can earn up to 2.5x on their points. You will earn 6% more points every month that you delay gratification. On 24 months, you will earn 12% and the maximum 2.5. So you get 6% per month. Then on the month 24, so it's the very last month of 2 years, you will get extra 12%. You get a double the amount for that particular month. So the max X bonus is 2.5x. So pretty much you would have to, in terms of volume basis, you'd have to outperform these amounts to get the same equivalent amount of points there. So just take that into account. All right, so that's very important. And this here is actually what affects your sacrifice. So when you put if you do $1,000 and you point 0.00, that means that you want your tokens as soon as it launches. But if you do the 1,000 and 0.24, that means you want to get your points at the end of 2 years. That's you're basically staking your points for 2 years. And so you got 24. If you do anything over 24, then it's going to just default to 0.00 because there's nothing acceptable in the cents, right? So $1,000 0.24 is going to be the maximum period that you can longer pays better stake for with your sacrifice. Like I say, if you did 1,000.50, then that's going to not be counted and be defaulted to that you want the tokens now. So to be careful, it's the cents that actually determine how longer pays better works on your sacrifice that you make when you send it to the wallet for your sacrifice. Duration: the sacrifice will last for 30 days only. During this time, you may sacrifice as many times as you choose. Any sacrifice sent past the end of the 30th day will be forfeit and earn 0 sacrifice points. So there's no mercy grace period like we had for Pulsechain. There's no mercy grace period. So just remember that 30 days is key. Any sacrifice sent past the end of the 30th will be forfeit and earn 0 sacrifice points. This is a very, very important thing to remember as well. So you've got 10 days to get in with the cheap rates for $1 for 10,000 points. So if you're going to do it, you might as well do it early. Process, of course. The sacrifice transaction from your wallet will contain all the information necessary to determine the total amount sacrificed, the points is received for the sacrifice, and the additional points you may receive by delaying the receipt of any points. The amount of stable coins you sent to the sacrifice wallet will also be determined. Will also help to determine the delay in receiving points. You need to use cents to nominate this delay. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Let's have a look here. So if you want the no delay, you want to get those as soon as Liquid Loans launches. You want your points tokens. Then you want to get it immediately. That's 0 months. That would mean that you sacrifice. Let's say you sacrifice 1,000. That's going to be 0.00 that you're going to put on there. You want it immediately. Obviously, the delay, if you want to delay 2 years, you want to get the maximum bonus, which is, remember, that was 2.5x. You want the maximum bonus. Longer pays better. Then you have to put, something like 10,000 or 0.221 there. So that to 2.1 is what determines how long you want your stuff to be staked for. Let's say at number 3, if you want to do 3 months, then you do put the 0.3 on the cents amount that you send. So you actually send that amount to there. So cool. Like I say, if you send above 24 cents, then it's going to default to 0. So if you send above 24 cents, it's going to default to 0 there. And to be clear, if you send 0.00, you will receive your points immediately. There is no delay. If you designate a longer delay than 24 months, i.e. 26, you'll receive your points immediately as if you had entered 0.00, which is what I've been saying there. For months 1 to 9, remember to left pad the cents with the 0. For example, month 3 should be 0.3. So that's basically 3 cents there. So 0.3, not 3. That's 30 cents, right? That would be 30 months, which would default you back to 0. And month 9 should be 0.9 and not 9. All right. So just make sure that's the case. Multiple sacrifices. You may decide to sacrifice a number of times from the same wallet. Each sacrifice may nominate a different delay period. Your points will be calculated by aggregating these amounts and recognizing the delay for each amount sacrificed. Just take that into account. So you can sacrifice, for example, with longer pays, but you can sacrifice for the volume bonus. If that second bonus, you can sacrifice as many times as you like. It will just take into account when you did them on the bonding curve there. So if we go back to here, you can sacrifice many times. You could sacrifice here, here, and here. It'll just add up all those that you sacrificed. Maybe you did one later on up here. It's just going to adjust for when you did that and add them all up. The other thing, of course, is if you want to do a sacrifice ladder, maybe you want to sacrifice $1,000 for 6 months and $1,000 for 12 months and 18 months, and you have to just put 6 cents and 12 cents and 18 cents behind the amount that you want to sacrifice. So $1,000 would be 1,000.06 for 6 months, 1,000.12 for 12 months, and 1,000.24 for 2 years, of course. And you can't do higher than that amount of cents. So you can't, as we said earlier. So that's how you can do that. If you want to do a sacrifice ladder, that's another way. So that way you have tokens coming to you with getting a bit of that extra bonus over time. That's pretty much how it works. Cool. Disclaimer reminder, if you choose to sacrifice, you must have no expectations of profit derived from the work of others. That's the Howey test. Participation reminder, this is not an investment of any kind. The sacrifice points have zero monetary value. Any points awarded to you as part of the sacrifice do not provide you with any legal aspect, etc. So that's cool. This is the official address here, OX2E9, and of course 48C ends in 48C9. That's the official one, and of course we copy that, and of course you can actually see that confirmed here on
what
the video.
is going on, people?
Later on, you see that confirmed somewhere here.
One makes the last 4 digits.
You just post that, so you can actually see that on actual video. So if you watch the actual confirmation video, you can actually see that address is the same as this one here, and then you'll be happy. That's what you're going to transfer your sacrifice to, and don't forget to have the cents for how long you can get. Longer pays better. Pretty cool on that. So that's how that works, folks. That is the sacrifice. That is the official sacrifice page for the liquid loans. Remember, this is optional. So if you want to diversify into liquid loans, then this is optional for you. Certainly, I'm not suggesting this at all. Obviously, I'm interested in myself, but there's nothing investment advice here. It's completely optional. As I said at the beginning, for me, the best projects are Richard Hart projects, and that I don't see any projects beating that. But if you want a bit of diversification or something like that, then it's definitely one of the better use case projects, especially when I think that the collateral lending will be very helpful for another buy factor for Richard Hart projects. So there we are. Cool. All right, so that is it. Let us jump over to Twitter. This is what was on Twitter, of course. 14 hours ago, they had straight out of the gate, they got 1.1 million US sacrificed. And like I say, I think that was primarily probably from the Magic Carpet Ride pool or syndicate. They're based in Australia, actually. I keep on saying in America, but they're Australian guys. That's so funny. Given the fact that I'm a Kiwi, I should know that, right? So there we are. And it's probably because I keep smoking those cigars. It just reminds me of like Italian mafia movies, something like that. This is the way it goes. So they did pretty well straight out of the gate, over $1 million. And then, of course, 2 hours ago, they had an update about 3.2 million, which where they're at the moment. So pretty cool on that. So that is on Twitter. And we had a cool poll. Now, this is not the latest numbers on the poll, but this was a poll that I snapshot an hour ago. We've got a lot more votes than this, but the poll was, are you going to sacrifice for Liquid Loans project, which is now open? We had 14% said yes, already have sacrificed. That's out of 57 votes. 23% said yes, I will soon sacrifice, and maybe still thinking about it, 30%. And I think there's probably that probably represents a fair number of people. It's almost 1 in 3, and then of course 1 in 3 says no, which is pretty reasonable breakdown actually. This is kind of one third are going to, 1/3 are maybe, and a 1/3 not quite sure about that. So let me just go to my channel, see what this is at. The results are at the moment. We've probably got higher results, so let me just pick this up as well on this. And so we've got 140 votes now. So we had 57 when I did this. We've got 140 now. So we're at 140 votes. We've still got 14%. We've actually dropped down slightly to 22%. Yes, I will soon. Maybe is dropped down from 30% to 29%. We've basically got almost 3 times as many votes. And nope is 34%. So that's pretty much it. These are still pretty similar, these percentages, but we've got 140 votes now. So pretty cool poll. I do appreciate everyone that filled out that poll. It's very, very helpful as well. So like that. And then finally, we're going to get on to Liquidity. Now, Liquidity is actually the project that Liquid Loans is forking on from Ethereum. And of course, Ethereum has the issues of high gas fees, right? Typically, generally speaking. And of course, that's been up and down like a yo-yo and most of the year. Now, this is some of the APRs that they're doing by staking Liquidity at the moment. So that's their token version, I guess, like the loans token. They got 3% their APR for the last daily average. They got 19.4% for the weekly average, 27% for the month average. So it's pretty good returns, right? And of course, that's from the borrowing, from the fees, things like that. So the revenue gets allocated. Staking APRs, 20% for 3 months. And of course, the 6 months, 47.7, and the all-time average, 160. Obviously, that depends on the time when you get on at the beginning. There's a couple other periods of time here where they've had good staking percentages as well. So it's pretty interesting. I think it will perform a lot better on Pulsechain for quite a few reasons. So, but once you check those out, obviously super cheap, super fast. There's a lot of there's a lot of excitement and energy going into Pulsechain, of course, with the couple of strategies that people might be using on here, the haunted strategy and things like that we've talked about before. Could be very bullish for this project, not just out of the gate, but over a longer period of time as well. So it's definitely something to think about there. I thought it was pretty interesting. There are other dashboards in here that you can use. I think if I go back here, there's dashboards here, and you've got different dashboards you can look at here on this as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'll definitely post this in the chat here in case you guys want to check out some of the other charts for sure. That's on the Liquidity one, just as a comparison. Let me just jump in. So that there, folks, is, I think I've gone through everything. Yeah, we've gone through the numbers. Here's the numbers. Let's do a refresh. We're on 3.2 million on ETH chain. Let's go back to the main chain there, and we're going to have a look and see how Binance Smart Chain is going as well, because they're also sacrificing on there. Okay, so looks like they've got 230,000 there, so they're probably at about 3.4 million now. Yeah, about 3.4 million is where they're at the moment. So going pretty good. Still day one. And as I think we said that they were only, let me have a look down here. Not sure if that's got all transactions view all. So I think they're at 16 hours. Let's go to last. So when was that? 16 hours and 22 minutes ago was the first one sacrificed. So yeah, 16 hours in. They've still got about just under 8 hours to go for day one results. They're running at 3.4 million. Pretty good, right? That's pretty good. So we'll definitely see how that goes. It's particularly over the next first 10 days. Obviously got a poll in the chat there. So check out the poll in the chat. And let's see how that's going. Poll in the chat is how much USD will be sacrificed for the liquid loans over the full 30-day period. So full 30 days, I've got under 15 million, 15 to 30 million, 30 to 45 million, and over 45 million. And I basically did that based on today's numbers, and then the first 10 days kind of made an estimate to try and get those bands reasonable. And of course, there we are. So we've got 59 votes, which is outstanding. So hats off to all of you guys for voting. I really do get excited when people vote. It just goes, all of us get the information. So that's all I like about it. We get a bit of insights about what other people are thinking. And I like the polls from that point of view. How much USD will be sacrificed? Well, we've got under 15 million is 31%. So not quite, almost 1 in 3 people. 15 to 30 million, that's 36%. So just over 1 in 3 people. And 30 to 45 million, 13%. So almost just over 1 in 10. 1 out of 10 people think 30 to 45 million. And over 45 million is 20%. So 1 in 5. That is pretty cool. So obviously it's 30 days, folks. First 10 days going to be where you get the flat rate, $1 per 10,000 points. And of course, bigger pays better, and then longer pays better on top of that. That earlier pays better. So that's pretty much earlier pays better, bigger pays better, longer pays better. That longer pays better is different from PulseX and Pulsechain sacrifices. And I think that's kind of cool, right? It actually kind of stakes the points, stakes the tokens, if you want to look at it that way, and it gets it off the market. But you also get the huge returns if you delay your gratification. The other side, of course, is from a short-term point of view, you got to outdo that volume, right? You got to outdo, was it 6% per day? You've actually got to outdo. We were up to on that one. I think it was 6. Was it 6 or 8%? 6%. Yeah, 6% per day. I think it was. Let me just. Yeah, you got to outdo 6% in volume basis per day. And of course, there's a compounding thing there as well, if you argue. Well, no, it's not compounding, but 6%. And then, of course, you've got 12% on the last month 24. Pretty cool. All right, so hopefully that's pretty cool there. Earlier pays better's got our little chart. We're familiar with that. Bigger pays better, obviously up to 2.5x, depending on how you ranked versus everybody else. Obviously, I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat those the Magic Cup Ride team unless some big whale comes in that can independently or another pool that's got some big whales in it. And then finally, we've obviously got the longer pays better there as well. Cool. So that's how it works, folks. So definitely, if you are intending to go on it, you can get 5% bonus with the link in the video description. That's pretty much it on that one. And of course, get your own one as well. So cool. That's a wrap up of that. I think that's a wrap. I think we've gone to everything. Yeah, I think we've done everything, folks. Woohoo! there we are. That liquid loans. Rock Gazette, day 1. And we're only still got 8 hours to go or something. Just under 8 hours. Pretty nice. Let's get into the chat here. And I'm going to find out where we're up to. I might just leave it on that page there. Let's go. And just trying to find out where I was actually up to on the chat here. So Craig Wedding's in the house. Hey, Craig. Hey. And we've got Big Kahuna's in the house. Potential 2.45x bonus on volume. Yeah, it sounds worth it, says Charity. And yeah, it's certainly exciting. A bit of diversification. There's also a referral code to use with the MTR, optional, but why not? Yeah. And so my referral code's in the video description. Once again, you can also get your referral code out there as well. Once you get that out there and then start getting 5% bonus, it all adds up, right? All adds up in long term. And of course, it's a win-win because the person that using referral gets 5%, you get 5%. Everybody must have sacrificed $500 to make sure those referral codes actually work. So you must do a minimum of $500 to get that working. And of course, if you get over 10 people that successfully qualify, then you can get 10% of your own sacrifice, which I think is a pretty nice way of working. And cool. Like Greg says, watching you live today from the Herbert Kingdom, says Greg. Yeah, that's right. Nice one, Greg. I appreciate that. And that's exactly right. What time is it? Says Stintop. I don't know. It's sacrifice time, I guess. We're going to get on to PulseX next. PulseX is up next, folks. So we're going to have fun with that. Greg says Bintang time. That's true, Greg. That's true. Nice one. Let's jump through. I'm just trying to make sure. We got Chris is saying, look, some of the off the money can go to Hex is now going to Mintra and LR. That is true. So it does compete. These projects do compete for potentially for Hex capital potentially. But then whatever is out there, I'm okay with the new projects. This is don't pump them to the Hex skins. Yeah. Well, I think people are going to be, I think we're just going to make good judgments about the amount of projects coming to us. When Pulsechain launches, if you think there's a lot of projects coming now, it's going to be nothing like what we're going to see in the next 12 months after Pulsechain launches. It's going to be project galore. And that's what I said to you. For me, the best strategy is do nothing. Hold on to your PulseX as much as you can. Hold on to your Pulse and put them into places where you get a bit more volume that are safe, like validating or staking or whatever. Liquid loans, for example. And of course, you don't put all your stuff into one platform. You spread around, but hold on to those bags. You try and grow the volume. Let the price do its thing. That's all. That's the best strategy, man. It's just let the price do. Don't trade. Don't do swap and stuff and all this to avoid that. And of course, the second bit is with your PulseX. That's also true. So PulseX, and of course, then you've got Hex as well. So if you are going to sell anything, sell something into Hex and then get that higher APY on the Hex. That's kind of thing. So you got to think about those strategies there as well. So cool. Vinette says time for the woo, says Vin. Absolutely. Prozzy says hit the like button, you animals. Yeah, I like that. And Mike says let's talk about Hex price end of sacrifice now compared to the first sacrifice. Yeah, well, we're just still waiting for the main game. So there's going to be a bit of a capitulation, which I think we're getting on at the moment. I will check out the Hex price a bit later. Cryptomanic says I need more dry powder for this Hex stick, says Cryptomanic. Absolutely. And Top says Bintang now. Nurse, I need my medicine immediately, if not sooner. That's pretty funny. I need for fiat period, says Charity. That's true. Dang, people selling down the price for this sacrifice. I'm not sure about that there, the Prozzy. Maybe some of them are. It's going to be interesting to see that play out. At 6, I've got to. I guess the thing with the blockchain Prozzy, we can actually see where people making major sales of their Hex bags. We actually can follow typically through the sacrifice address. So that'd have to be done, wouldn't it? Otherwise, it might just be the market conditions. Who knows? Travia says 16 cents is here. So we're down at that second support line. We will check that out shortly. Hex Factor says just bought some Hex. Woohoo! Nice one. So I'm going to be buying some Hex too. Actually, I'm going to be buying some Hex just so you guys let you know. That's going to sound good at this price. Crypto Maniac, can we get a double bottom? That would be great. I think so too. And Human Trash says this is getting too complicated. Human Sex Trafficker. Marcos thinks it's a good idea. Yeah, well, it's basically 3 components. Like I said, earlier pays bigger, bigger pays better, and longer pays better. It's just got one more extra feature there than the PulseX one. Chris says Marco thinks it's a good idea to have new Pulsechain projects getting pumped to Hexagons. He'll change his mind soon enough when dozen new projects come next year. Yikes. I absolutely agree with you, Chris, on that. So I'm in the camp of Yes, I think there'll be 1 or 2 good projects, but be very careful. I'll just be holding my bags of Pulse and PulseX, accumulating more Pulse and PulseX, better than accumulating risky projects. And of course, I think that liquid loans is probably one of the few exceptions to the rule for that at the moment. So definitely that's where I'm heading with that. There's lots of rubbish. I already talked about the what's the one that I said that I'm not in favor of. I think that I said it was this free pulse, not in favor of that, the way it was done. And like I said, you got to make decisions, got to evaluate them, all of your own. That's just my opinions. I'm just sharing. But once again, we've each got to, use our noggins, not lose our coins. We don't lose our pulse. We don't lose our PulseX. We've got to try and gain a little bit more if we can, but safely. Charity says, right, that's what also nice about a pull. Choose 1 or 4 dresses. Yep. No Name says it's not really the same as other sacrifice phases unless you want to lock up some. Then you add 10 cents at the end of that 10 months. Yeah, that's correct. The other side, of course, is if you are risk averse about the market, if you are fearful of the markets in the future, then you can just get your tokens, get them. Don't do a delay. Forget the longer pays better bonus. Just do a sacrifice for the short term. Get your coins, and if the price really maxes out at the beginning, the price goes up and then it comes down. Then you just max out. You can sell out at the beginning at the higher price. You can speculate. This is not a Richard Hart project, so you can play the games a bit different. So you can have to do the strategy a bit different there. Whereas the other way at Richard Hart's, you want to try and accumulate and just follow the price, moving upwards that way. So that's probably some of my thoughts there. Tintop says yes, it's now. And Brazology says 1 cent per month is you want to lock up. Yes, says Brazology. And so hot in New Zealand. Woohoo, says Hex FS. It is hot outside, super hot today. There's a reason Yahoo Messages boards don't allow you to pump irrelevant stocks. A big shout out, of course, to Wellington, to the freedom, people standing up there for freedom, and not a shout out to all the people not shouting out for freedom. There's lots of those people that are willing to lose their rights. So I'm going to say that now. This is my PC statement for today, because I see some silly people that have no idea what they're talking about. So anyway, Chris H says there's a reason Yahoo Messages boards don't allow you to pump irrelevant stocks. And PulseX says, woohoo! And PulseX says, what do you think how much percentage APY will be for PulseX staking? I think they've indicated of a PulseX staking. We don't know. We just don't know, because really it's going to be down to the DAO. And I think that the Origin account's going to control the sacrifice. So the Origin account's going to control the DAO. That's what I'm expecting to happen there, PulseX. So we really just don't know. Chris H says Hexicans have been known to buy anything that is pitched to them, there's probably quite a bit of truth there, Chris H. But not everybody, right? Not everybody. I'm high. I can't write correctly. That's pretty funny. What else we got? Which jump through these. Mike says we're almost at my buy signal on the daily chart. Is that right? The chart and starting at the bottom. So I'm still going to hold off at the X chart. I'll look at it later. Not right now, but we'll get there. Cal says, I wish I earned on borrowed money over the last 4 years. Tax is killing me. That's true. You've got to use some of those get rich schemes. The rich people use the taxation, use trusts, and of course lending to try and get that tax down. 160% is all-time average, not taking into account the massive appreciation from early adopters, very similar to the loan token, says Kiwi83. Hey, thanks for that. Earning on borrowed money, just the little banks. Yeah, what else we got going there? We've got lots of emojis. Frank Nils in the house, another Hex Token channel member. Let's go. I love it, Frank. Good to see you in the chat too. We've got lots of Hex Token channel members. Brazology, Brownie. We've got quite a few there. Craig as well. Love it. Mr. A says, who do you think will profit more? Loan day one stakers or 24-month lockup and then start staking? Well, this is the thing. We don't know. I guess you don't know what's going to happen with the price between those two periods. That's why I'm saying you could end up speculating a little bit on this one. Just sacrifice for the short term, or you can play the long term. Obviously, you got to outdo 6% per day if you think about that volume times price. So no one really knows there, Mr. A. I'm inclined myself to do short stakes, to do a short one there, Mr. A, as opposed to a long one. But once again, you have the opportunity of doing a sacrifice stake. In other words, sacrifice over different periods of time. Maybe have stuff coming out every month over that 24 period. So you kind of get a middle ground in terms of the longer pays better way there to go. Cal says OpenSea CTO on stage in Denver when it got hacked. Is that right? Ouch. That's pretty bad. PulseX is a beast, says Compilation. Absolutely is. Hex will probably be a better buy right now compared to the sacrifice for loan. That's a good argument there. I'd probably agree with that too. How do you all, in fact, I do agree with that in many cases. How do we all back from the holidays? And what else we got? Roger says, how can I check my sacrifice PulseX points? Thank you so much. Okay, we'll get onto that. And what else? I'm almost up to date, folks. Michael says, where do you see the result for your liquid loan sacrifice? Well, it would be on the chain, right? So it's on chain. You just have to go to the official address here, and you'll see it in there on the chain for the sacrifice address. Brendan says, all is well. I'm sure the payout from Rich Hart projects will provide me with and more than the future. Absolutely. And why don't you like free pulse? I went through that yesterday, Gene, but because they weren't transparent about the the FP sacrifice, and they've changed that to a what do they call it now? Something else. I don't want to talk too much about that, but we got the free pulse there. They've got the FP shares. They weren't transparent about that, and didn't like that at all. And also the fact that they're saying they're going to fund the $250 or $200 an hour giveaway from their own massive mad gains in Hex, and then suddenly they've got this FP shares rate up. So I don't like that at all. I thought that was completely misleading. And then of course now they've renamed this. FP shares. What do they call it now? They've called it something else. Yeah, a dedication phase now. So I'm just not interested in that. I like people to be upfront about it, and that's what I prefer. And secondly, there's no guarantee that they're not going to fund that from the raise. And basically, they could raise millions, hundreds if not millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands if not millions of dollars, and of course, the money's just going to go to them, right? So it seems like an easy pickup of big money, and I just don't like it. And of course, it's gambling as well. And I think it's not going to have as big an impact on adoption of Pulsechain as they think. It's just another project on the Pulsechain. We've got lots of casinos that will come on there. And like I said, I think the community would end up funding this free pulse rather than themselves, right? So it's up to as well. But those are a couple of my major criticisms there. Everyone's welcome to their own opinion, but it's not one that I'm really keen on. All right, cool. Let's jump over there. I've got about to drop 70 ETH on Hex. Buying more now. Go for it, Frank. That'd be pretty awesome. And Hex Factor says, nice. Woohoo. Howdy all. Lots of love. Susie Q. Nice one. And Fatal says, another sacrifice. Still no launch date for Pulsechain. This thong is starting more than shady and shadier while the founder dresses like a pimp. That's a bit harsh there, Fatal. Pulse77 says, mate, probably a dumb question, but when Hex T-shares, when you get T-shares and the longer it pays better, do you not get the extra bonus Hex? Only get the interest. I used Hex Scout and a bit confused. Yeah, so when you stake Hex, you get a 20% bonus per year that you stake in effective Hex. So, if you did the max is 3,641 days. So let's say that's 10 years. You're basically getting, if you do 10,000 Hex, you're going to get the effective Hex is 30,000, and that will give you more T-shares. So basically you're getting more T-shares than you would if you just had 10,000 Hex and no effective bonus, that 200% bonus for 10 years. So basically you are getting the T-share equivalent, and so that's much better. So you probably only need about 6,000 Hex at the moment, maybe 6,500 Hex if you did a 10-year stake. Otherwise, you'd need about 21,000 Hex, right, to get a 1 T-share stake. Does it make sense? So you can get more T-shares by staking longer with the effective bonus. But that T-share ultimately is just going to get a certain amount of Hex per day for that T-share, which is going to go up over time, right? So, Hex per day will eventually get up 40, 50 Hex per day later on in the future. Gene says, thanks for the explanation. Hey, Gene, you're most welcome. And Pulse777, you really knew your stuff. Thanks, says Pulse77. Hey, you're most welcome with that. And Sam says, see you all. Catch you the rest of the morning. Hey, Sam and SB, great to see you. And we'll catch you later. Let's get into it, folks. PulseX power. I should get some really cool things. Also My Life is Awesome. He has all these little, because he edits the videos, they're like pre-edited, right? There's the ping, ping, Pulsechain, PulseX, ping, ping. I love it. It's quite cool. I should get some big thing with it. PulseX, something like that. Anyway, too much watching cartoons, I think, maybe. All right, so get on to it, folks. PulseX, and of course, let's do the numbers. Refresh here. We've got 974, almost $975 million on PulseX Sacrifice on the ETH chain. That is really amazing. And of course, we've got 19 hours and 4 minutes to go until the end of the volume multiplier. Woohoo! So you can see the daily increase will continue for the next 19 hours until February the 21st at 00 UTC time. After that, a 1.75 flat bonus activates for the next 5 days until the sacrifice phase ends. Current rate is 10,000 points for $7.76. And this chart looks a bit funny, but there we are, $7.76 on the vertical axis. And here we are on day 54 on the horizontal axis. And of course, I've forgotten what I was going to say, but this is where the chart is at the moment. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say, we're supposed to expect, we're going to get into the last 5 days, we're going to get into the 1.57 multiplier. And I said, if you're coming in late, you want to sacrifice some PulseX at the moment. I said, I do suggest you buy Hex as a better play and get a copy of Hex. But if you don't, then you would not sacrifice now, especially if you're doing a couple $100, you know, thousands of dollars, 10, 20, 30,000. You're better off to sacrifice on the first day of the 1.75 multiplier because it would get a higher number than because the basic points are now so expensive, $7.76 per 10,000 points, that you're better off with the 1.75 multiplier in a day's time on day, was it 55? So definitely wait for that on the 21st. So cool. After the PulseX mainnet, of course, the sacrifice will be able to access their free PulseX once mainnet. So Pulsechain goes live, PulseX goes live. Good times. We all get our Pulse and PulseX tokens, and then the market will decide what happens after the AMM bot runs as well. That's going to be pretty cool. So you can see this here, the last 5 days, February the 21st to 25th, we'll have the worst rate. That's talking about the base points being $9, you know, well, getting up to $9, it's going to be $8 something, and get a variable bonus, and you won't get a variable bonus. Instead, every sacrifice on the last days will get a flat 1.75 bonus. Pretty cool there. Now, let's jump over. If you want to check your ranking, someone asked about your ranking. You want to check your ranking and check pulsexleads.com. We're going to look at that pretty shortly. That's pretty much where you can check your ranking if you've done sacrifice to PulseX, pulsexleads.com. So that's the one, but we're going to go to that shortly. Let us go to pulsex.info. So this pulsex.info site, this is the official sacrifice site that you want to sacrifice. If you're doing Ethereum or any compatible Ethereum chain like Binance Smart Chain, Polygon Matic, you can sacrifice to the official PulseX sacrifice address. 0x075 ends in DDC8. All right, so 0x075 ends in DDC8. There we are. And of course, I typically suggest doing the main coins like ETH or BNB or Hex, of course, which is the number one. About 54.25% of it has been Hex. And of course, you can do stable coins, USDC, USD Tether, all that good stuff. If you do the main ones, then you're going to have no issues with them getting qualified. If you're going to use some weird altcoins that don't have liquidity or scamming type of coins, then they'll probably get rejected in the distribution. So you don't want to be one of those people. Now, if you also want to sacrifice non-ETH stuff, then you can do Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Tron, all these other good ones, Dogecoin. Then just follow steps 1 to 3 and just work through this, and you'll be perfectly fine. If you're a little nervous about sacrificing, just sacrifice a little bit, and then of course sacrifice your designated amount. Maybe you want to do $1,000, you can sacrifice $50 and make sure that works, and then do the full $950 after that. That's your total 1,000 there. Once you make that work, obviously that's a good way of doing it. All right, let's jump over to the main event for PulseX. Here we go. PulseX.sleed. This is the site, and of course, someone asked about how do you check your balances. Well, there's a couple of ways, but this is probably the easiest way, and I'm going to post this in the chat here. It's in the video description, but this is where you can go check. All you have to do is paste your address into the search box at the top left here. Click search, and it will find your address if you've done a sacrifice on the ETH chain, Binance Smart Chain, something like that. Any ETH compatible chains, it will show up on the search bar here. Just click search, and it will pull up a box for you and show you your accounts here. All right, cool. Let us get into the main numbers. We're at 1,028 million. Yay! We crossed over another mark there. So 1,028 million. Of course, this includes Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon Matic. It doesn't include all those other coins like Bitcoin, etc., Bitcoin Cash. So on top of that, this is probably at 1,050 million, maybe 1,055 million, somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe even slightly higher. It has been pretty successful. The other thing, of course, is we at 17.2 trillion PulseX points. And of course, this is the public sacrifice. Doesn't include what we expect the origin account to come in and to sacrifice for up to 85 to 90% of the PulseX points, just like it did for Pulsechain back in the last couple of days in early August last year. So that's what we're expecting to see. We're currently at 135,441 wallets, which is pretty mad crazy, right? That's pretty awesome. And this doesn't include Bitcoin, the other change, remember. So just remember, when we're looking at this data, it's a good estimate, but doesn't include big sacrifices like Bitcoin. All right, so we've got 7 wallets over $10 million. They're our big whales. And of course, the famous one there, Overwatch at the top there. That's Rack and Rochelle. And of course, then number 2, the Hex Godwell, sitting there as well, sitting well positioned. They play the long game, and they have turned a small amount of money into a magical amount of money. And of course, we like to follow the big whales that can do that. So very cool for that. Let's scroll down to, of course, to the Magic Carpet Ride. Looks like they've probably got number 1 spot on Liquid Loan Sacrifice. And there we are for this address, DE807. So they've done 4.3 million on PulseX. They've got a rate, which is a whale size rate, probably about 2.14 or 2.15. Let's see if they've sacrificed anything. On Saturday, they did. They've sacrificed about just over $1,000 on Saturday with a bit of Ethereum and a bit of Binance Smart Chain stuff there. Congratulations to them. And looks like they have a good chance of being the number 1 whale on Liquid Loans, unless somebody else big comes in that we're not expecting. I think that they have a good chance of doing that. The other thing, of course, is because they will also they'll be able to get all the bonuses for their participants as well. So cool, using a referral code. Remember, if they get over 10 people, they get that 10% bonus. So that's going to go back to their sacrifices over there for the Magic Carpet Ride team. All right, so cool. That's it. Let's scroll down to the bottom here. See the top 100. And let me just take the red bar here, scroll that down. So to get in the top 100, you need 1.2 million. These numbers don't really change at this point of the game. They haven't changed for a little while. 1.94 is the multiplier if you're in that group of the top 100. There's probably about 114 millionaires that have sacrificed in the sacrifice, which has been pretty amazing. Let's look at the top 500. $202,843 to get in the top 500. Remember, this does exclude Bitcoin sacrifices and stuff like that. And of course, the multiplier at this level is 1.68, which is, because it's been so successful and such big whales at the top, the ratio is a lot lower than a lot of people would have expected for 202,000. That's just what happens when you have successful sacrifices, isn't it? So we'll go down to the bottom 1,000. So $101,157 is what you need to get in the top 1,000. And of course, they're going to multiply about 1.58. And the other thing I always say about this, of course, they'll end up controlling the top 1,000, controlling the majority of the public PulseX points, and of course, or tokens, as we will probably call them. And so they'll have basically control over 70, maybe 75% of that. So that's it. But once again, that's a good thing. They'll be buying and selling amongst themselves. And of course, when the bridge opens up, potentially hundreds of thousands of millions of people will want to come in to buy the tokens off all these people. And that includes you and me. If you've sacrificed for PulseX, we are the beginning, because it's going to be a total amount of PulseX points at the beginning, and then it's going to be a magical buy and burn, and it's just going to decrease massively. Let's say we have $1 billion trading volume, then that would be 600,000 US dollars of buying every day. So it's pretty mad, crazy stuff, and that means no one has to buy or sell, and we're going to have mad, crazy results. It's going to be really, really good. All right, so let's go to the top 5,000 and check out the final ranking. This is our final category. And of course, $20,101. I think that's pretty amazing. As I always tell a story just about every day, is that people thought maybe $5,000 would have gotten the top 5,000, and it's 4 times that. 4 times that. Really, really, really cool. And of course, the multiplier there is 1.33. So pretty nice there. And let's jump away so that's the wallets and the totals. Let's get into the actual tokens. Our favorite, of course, our good friend Hex at 557 million. And of course, 2,181,000,000 Hex has been sacrificed. That's sacrificed on the ETH chain. And of course, that will get copied over on the Pulsechain as PRC20s. And of course, that will be owned by the sacrifice addresses as well. So we kind of see that the origin account and the sacrifice address like a brother and sister in a happy family. And of course, with the big heart, happy family there. And of course, they'll act as a feature and a benefit, and kind of like an operational financial manager in some ways, and indirectly. Of course, don't expect anything from the work of others, but that's kind of the way I like to use an analogy there. All right, we've got Ethereum at 246 million, USDC at 109 million, I should say. USD Tether at 48.5 million, BSD at 17.6. There are top five sacrifice excluding Bitcoin. Of course, the BNB is looking pretty good too. 15.7 million on BNB, DAI 6 million, Matic at 2.4 million. Oh, no, wait a minute. 5 million, $5.1 million. Sorry, and the AVX is at 3.6 million, and Shiba at 3.6 million. There are top 10. Pretty awesome stuff. Now, the two big things as I always point out every day. One is the fact there's over $600 million of stable coins. That's kind of like a war chest. No expectations of the work of others, but a war chest there, possibly one of the possible pumper metals in the Richard Hart ecosystem. And of course, what other projects have that? I don't see any. I'm looking around. I don't see any around here at all. So that's pretty much that. All right. The second cool theme, of course, is that, Uniswap, PulseX, we're looking for the yield farmers to come. And we want them to come in the hundreds of thousands from every chain around the world. You're all welcome. And of course, we're going to get obviously Ethereum, but all the other chains, you know, who names Atrium, Phantom, you name the list, they're all going to come. Right, so and we've already got a good indication of yield farmers in the house. They're going to spread the word as well. We've got Hex Sacrifice there. We've got Uni Sacrifice. We've got Sushi Sacrifice, Quick, etc. And there's just many more. So it's really cool to have that. And of course, when the yield farmers sniff incentives, and of course, it's going to be the biggest yield farming in crypto history, as well as the biggest airdrop in crypto history, then they're going to come over like unbelievably so fast like that. They come over. These guys know the technology. They know the bridges. They know what to do. They come over. They get themselves in real fast. So when that bridge opens up, folks, if you haven't got your bags, you know, packed, these guys are coming in, and of course they're going to be some of the very first come in. Faster than the NFT, folks. The NFTs are coming. Of course, obviously the contract's getting airdropped too, but it's going to be so fast with the yield farmers are going to be fast and big. So it's going to be pretty cool. That the NFT is the other big game, of course, is going to be played. It's a little bit longer in the tail, but that's definitely going to be a big deal as well. So looking good. Let's just jump over to that is the results for the live results at the moment, looking pretty healthy. And of course, let's get over to statistics. I always say that, you know, over $1 billion, that would typically get you on CNBC or something like that if you were to stock capital raise. But once again, you know, crypto is still so early in crypto, and of course the mainstream media, especially the business news, they're so far behind the ballpark, right? It's like 5 years later and they realize this happened. Really, did it happen? It's like a bit late. So anyway, so the results for day 53, $675,000 was sacrificed yesterday, and that compares to 722 the day before on day 52. So a pretty good day in the office. In fact, that actually blew up my extrapolation. Yeah, that's the right one. Extrapolation from yesterday. I think I said, what did I say? 400, 500, just based on the first 4 hour numbers. You said that's the extrapolation. And so we did better than that, which was nice to see. Our total for the day, of course, 1,027 million. And we're already into day 54, and we're already up at 84,000. So we extrapolate that. What's that? 5.8 to 40, so maybe 400k again. Let's see if I'm right tomorrow. 400k. There we are. That's the number. So that's the results, folks, for the live PulseX and the day 53 results. Looking pretty good as we head towards the 59 days. Remember, so we're getting there, folks. Getting there at the last day. Let's get on to this results here. We're going to get onto the rates table, and we're going to right to the bottom. Can you believe we started off at the top here? What's that song? We started up here or something. Now we're down here. I can't remember what that song's about, but that's where we started. Day one, anyway. And we had for the first 12 days, we had $1 for 10,000 points. And of course, now we're way down here, folks. And we're now at $7.76. Day 54, the last day of the volume multiplier. You can see $1 will now get you 1,288 points if you're down at the very bottom multiplier there. Obviously, if you've got a higher volume multiplier, then you do better. But basically, it looks like anybody in this multiplier range, so anybody got a multiplier that is below 1.6, say, approximately, this estimated 1.6 is better off sacrificing, not today, but tomorrow. If you're coming in suddenly and you want to sacrifice this, the better day is tomorrow, day 55. The base rate will be jumped from $7.76 today to $8.15, but the flat rate will apply. The volume multiplier will disappear. The flat rate will come in at 1.75, and of course, your base points times your flat rate of 1.75. You're better off getting 2,147 points compared to today at 1,288. Especially if you're got a couple $100, couple $1,000 to sacrifice, you're better off tomorrow at 2,147. Now, is this when we're going to expect the Origin wallet to come in? Just wait, the music news is coming in. Is it coming in? The Origin wallet coming in tomorrow. I think that's probably the best day for it to come in. It's expected to sacrifice some Hex, get the most points for that Hex as well, and that'll probably be the play that we should see. So it won't be impacting the volume multiplier anymore. That's going to finish today, and of course we should expect that to come in and own a lot of stuff as well. So definitely going to probably see that here. Let me just go back to my maths calculator here. Let's pull this up. Keep doing it off the cuff, but don't forget to fill out the poll. We've got the poll in the chat there. Let me just put this in. let me just divide by, say that. I've forgotten the rest of the mate. Yeah, so, we might end up, if we've got about 135 trillion Pulsechain points, or Pulse, for the Pulsechain sacrifice, which was back in between the 15th of July and the 3rd of August, and of course had a mercy period well after that, right up till today, actually. The rate must be horrific, if whatever it is at the moment. But that is, let's say it's got 135 trillion Pulse. We might end up with possibly, I don't know, I haven't looked at the other market stuff, but maybe 200 trillion, something like that, of PulseX would be interesting. Obviously, that's the Origin account stuff's going to be considered inactive liquidity, or liquid Hex, or liquid PulseX, I should say. So many tokens, right? So many tokens, but that's probably where I see that playing out at the moment. All right, so cool. That is the rates, folks. That is it. And of course, this is the end game. This is the end game. This is what's being laid out. Infrastructure. Richard Hart said this 2022 is the year of infrastructure, and that does take time to roll out. So he's got, obviously, this is pretty much the big one. You got to lay the platform. The platform is Pulsechain. The platform is PulseX. And of course, you're going to have all these awesome tokens on there, and the tokenomics are the best. Total amount from the sacrifice periods, buy and burns, fee burns, just straight. It's going to make smaller and smaller and smaller. Beautiful tokenomics. Of course, every other thing traded on PulseX is going to funnel in to feed in the value of PulseX as well. And of course, all the transactions on Pulsechain will be amazing. So let's say we've got 1.3 million transactions on Ethereum. We've got, say, 4 million transactions on Polygon. We might have, say, 5-6 million transactions on Binance Smart Chain. I could easily see Pulsechain doing 6 to 10 million transactions. So let me know in the chat what you think about that. But that's pretty awesome. It's going to be super cheap, though, of course. So the more transactions, the better. And so it's going to be interesting to see that out as well. Now, there will be some operational issues, I think. Obviously, it's got bot trades and trying to, that sort of stuff. NFTs coming in, all this demand coming in. It's going to be interesting to see that play out in the practical sense. So how that affects the GUI on Pulsechain is going to be interesting. The other side, of course, is that, with PulseX, we're going to have so many peers. How many peers? We're going to have 6,000 peers, more peers. Could be amazing if we harvest all these decks of the AMM box, print money out of nothing. And of course, what's that going to be like? Beautiful, right? It's going to be beautiful. So really, this is how crypto works. It creates this value out of nothing. Look at all the top chains out there at the moment. They're just worth tons, right? So it's going to be pretty fascinating seeing that. There's also a pent-up demand. People get pent-up demand with the delay of the launch. So obviously to do the software and get that all up and running. Richard looks pretty happy with where things are at the stage. And of course, we're expecting Pulsechain Testnet 3 to come pretty soon as well. So lots of good stuff there. And as I say, we've got Hex shining there as well. Now, obviously, the Hex price is doing its thing at the moment. And of course, market conditions, we've got geopolitical risk with Ukraine. We've got the Federal Reserve in March. You've got a few things happening there as well. So cool. And of course, when we launch, of course, we're going to have this bridge open a day or two after. That's going to open up, and that's going to bring all the people the fastest mass adoption. So we've got the biggest airdrop in crypto history, the biggest yield farm in crypto history, super fast, super cheap chain. And then, of course, my biggest fundamental, the biggest, fastest adoption in crypto history through that bridge when it opens up. And of course, we're not just going to have Ethereum. We're going to have all these other chains coming as well, the yield farmers that are on these other chains that live over there now. So it's going to be pretty cool. And then, of course, the fiat gateway. And then on top of that, we're going to have third-party dApps. It's going to be insane in the membrane. And the big thing, of course, this whole picture is dropping at once. It's not a little project dropping with 5,000 followers or users. This is ginormous. And we could potentially have in the low millions of people coming in a very short space of time. So it's very exciting. And of course, everybody in the sacrifice has the coins that everybody else is going to want. And so you can see that as they get buy and burns, it's going to be pretty awesome. PulseX, of course, imagine with all those trading pairs, all that stuff's going to funnel in to do the buy, 0.06%. Going to be buying $1 billion of value, $600,000 of buy. What happens if we get up to $2 billion? It's a $1.2 million buy and burn. Magical. How's it going to happen? Of course, it's going to be time-based. We don't know. Is it going to be like the whales buying the dips, holding long-term? Is it going to be creating these parabolic price rises? It's pretty awesome. Don't forget, we've got the war chest, US dollar war chest. We've got the buy and burns. It's just crazy. We've got all these other fundamentals I just talked about. It's insane. This is the holy grail of crypto. And that's why I said I don't see any other project, even all the ones that will come onto this project, this platform, outbeating Pulse and PulseX and Hex in return. They are going to be the ones to go for. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It really is outstanding stuff. So I'm super bullish, as you can tell. It's going to be really, really good. Let's go on to PulseX timeline. Of course, here we are. This yellow line here is Pulse Testnet 1. And, of course, that lasted for 77 days. Now we're on Pulsechain Testnet 2, and that has just hit day 70. Day 70 on Pulsechain Testnet 2. So we're only a week away from Pulse being the same length as Pulsechain Testnet 1. When's it going to end? Question mark. And, of course, we've got Pulsechain Testnet 3. We're expecting that to be short. Richard has kept reminding us there's going to be Pulsechain Testnet 2, but 3, sorry, but he said it's going to be short. So was it 2 weeks is short, 7 days short, 10 days short? I kind of think I went for 2 weeks at the stage, but that's kind of short because you think of 70 days. What's maybe 20% of 70 days is short. So what's that? 14 days. So that's 2 weeks. So there are 20% of Pulsechain Testnet 2. That's short, I guess, as you may want to call it. So cool. And what we're expecting on there, of course, is the DAO incentive token. That is priority number 1, and then number 2. Richard's going to be looking at the AMM bot run testing. Of course, they need to successfully do the harvesting of all the different dexes they want to do. So Uniswap, etc. And so it's going to be pretty important. And then, of course, the third thing is the distribution. That's where we're up to. So we're getting there, folks. But just how long this is going to last is another thing. And of course, the big things for the Hex price chart, it's just dwindling at the moment amongst this the bigger wider market context. Obviously, we've got liquid loans as well. Might have a little effect. I think a little effect, but not a big one in my view. But that's basically what's happening there. And the two big catalysts for me, maybe Pulsechain Testnet 3 might be a little catalyst. Maybe just give it a little lift. But I really think that it's the snapshot block for the epicest airdrop in crypto history. And, of course, the actual going live of Pulsechain, PulseX. Those are the two big things that the market's looking for. Now, typically, whales front run this stuff. So whales will move and front run the stuff. So that's the wild card. So we're waiting to see whether that happens too. So that's very important. All right, cool. That pretty much is the timeline. And, of course, the MVP stuff there that I've always talked about in the past, that's all got ticks on it. That's been in chain and testnet 2, as well as the validators have been tested hard. Right, the validators have been tested hard. We can see that on the Pulsechain testnet. Look at that, 300. And this number keeps changing around. I'm not sure why. Let me just refresh this number again. At the moment, it's showing 358 million, but it keeps moving around for some reason. I'm just not sure why that is. But yeah, that's what they're showing. They haven't adjusted it. So cool. It's been tested pretty hard for the validators. Last time I checked the validators, of course, they had 28 validators. I don't know if there's more. I know that Dave Ferreira said in a live stream earlier today, I think it was on Big Pep, that testing's been going very well on Pulsechain Testnet 3. And, of course, he's looking to be a validator, public validator. And of course, he'll need people to stake with him to hold that position in the top 33 validators when it does pop up. And of course, testnet had last time I checked 28 validators, but in practice it's going to be 33. The other side, of course, is that they were looking at distributions on there as well. So definitely check out Dave Federer if he does publish anything on the validators, if that's something that you're interested in, because obviously we'll be able to stake our pulse with validators when that does happen. So that's pretty cool. All right, cool on that. So that is the timeline. So we've pretty much covered the PulseX and the Pulsechain timelines as well. So hopefully that's pretty cool. We do have a few things coming up. Of course, the Hexpo Vegas coming up in March. Let us know in the chat if you're going to there. If you are, just type in Vegas or Hexpo, one of the two. Yeah, probably type in Vegas. Just type in Vegas if you're going to the Vegas one. It'll be interesting to know. And, of course, then we're waiting for the launch there. Obviously, on the other side, we've got Hex Scale sitting around, waiting for that to open up to receive money and start buying Hex, staking 555. And we're waiting for that. And, obviously, Funding Jim's been doing a terrific job onboarding, 20 million plus net worth people, including the billionaires as well. So big hats off there as well. We've also got the private investment trust that no one knows the name of. Apparently that's in the game as well. So we're looking, maybe we might end up finding out more information in the future on that as well. The other thing, of course, we've got the big Peter Schiff debate coming with Rich Art on the 23rd. That's going to give a whole nother level of energy. It's going to be bigger than people think socially on the social media, because it's a big deal. The Twitter social rooms, YouTube, 96 hours, of course. Funding Jim, and of course potentially Kiyosaki himself and other people being on there. It's going to be large influencers, over 500,000 people on the influencers, so that's a big deal. That's coming up. Start the 21st, so that's probably starting in the next 24 hours or so. So definitely keep an eye out on that as well. So nice, very cool. All right, I think that's probably it on the wrap up there on the milestone, and we're going to get into Hex price next. But let's go to the chat and see what's been going on there. For sure, we're doing pretty good time, an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 14 minutes, covering a lot of the topics that we wanted to cover. as well. So let's get back in there. Charity says, XT shares and bonuses confused the bananas out of me, but my stake is doing amazing. Nice one, Charity. Yes, longer pays better. Jonathan Capata says, thanks for all your hard work, man. Hey, Jonathan, it's a pleasure. You know me, I'm passionate about the stuff. So when you do something that you're passionate about and when there's a great community around you supporting you, it makes it a lot easier to do, Jonathan. So a big shout out to you. Pulse 777 says, okay, I kind of get it, but just ended a 5-month stake. First one, put in 300K of Hex, 17 T shares and got back 314,000. Thought I would get 17 times 20, 17 times 27,000 T share. No, you got it wrong there, Pulse 777. Probably go and watch Hodl Dog's video on Hodl Dog's got one on T shares. Maybe that's good beginner's video. It breaks things down quite nicely. Probably go and watch that again there as well. Also check out the hexcalc.net, I think it is. That has a little breakdown there. I think Craig Welling's got is it the Hang 10 or Banana Skin? Banana Skin. What's up, Craig? What's good, Craig? The Banana Skin. PulseX says, what do you think of liquid loans? Any thoughts of the first price of the year? Liquid loans say you can buy 20,000 SAC, could go under an X. I'm a bit more modest about it, but I definitely think that in the first year, depending on market conditions, right, I do have one big worry about the markets, and that is the Fed Reserve. That's my biggest worry. I could easily, let's say 20x. I can't remember what Liquidity did, but maybe 20x at least. So I think it actually could do very well, Pulse. There's a lot of people interested in it, so I definitely think it can do pretty well. Door Shadow says, yo, hey, Door Shadow, Hexcoin just keeps restocking. Yeah, I think it does, yeah. We were over 200 million in the Hex liquidity pool, which is pretty amazing. Door Shadow says, I remember when there was 301 million stock available. Now there is only 91 million. Really? Thought it was over 200 million at the moment there, Door Shadow, but it's only 17 cents, yeah. We're going to come back to the Hex price. The Hex price is next, folks. We're going to be talking about that. Someone please explain. 16 cents now, says Door Shadow. Clarify your question. What do you mean restocking? I guess you must mean there's more Hex in the liquidity pool and Uniswap. Door Shadow says, how does it happen? No. And what else we got? Go down 300. SAC that needs to end. What else we got? Just jumping through some of these. Let's go here. Scroll up here. Got a few comments here. I'm just jumping through quite a few of these. Charity says, I wish Hedron was using stable coins. Interesting. Hexcoin is only 60 cents currently. Let's jump down here. What else we got? Just check here. James says, Cura, bro, new sub here. Hey, James, appreciate it. Shout out to the new subs. If you haven't subbed, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. Definitely helps. And welcome to James as a new subscriber to Hex Token channel. Charity says, no expectations. Whoop, whoop. That's it. No expectations. Once said, Richard Hart projects are the best of the best. So just remember that. Keep that always in the back of your head when you try to make a decision about something. Craig Wayne says, people's stakes in, some restake, some sell, some do both. Plus, the whole market is dipping right now. Not doing anything. It hasn't changed. It hasn't been doing for 6 months. That's right, Craig. It's a good buy right now, says Door Shadow. Let's have a look here. Mark Canito says, no expectations of profits. How people buy this. And Craig Welling says, if Hex is over $1 in a year, you won't care about 16 or 18 cents. That's correct. What else we got going here? I got miles behind the comments. It's really has been great. So thanks everybody for commenting. And I do apologize if I haven't actually answered your comments. It's just because there's so many at the moment. Mike says, wait until the stock RSI on the daily crosses up and confirms the cross up for 24 hours. That would be a nice buy confirmation for Hex price. A nice comment there, Mike. Door Shadow says it's a solid coin, not like it's going to drop. Yeah, back to 0001. Yeah. Let's have a look here. Jump down. Corey Klein says, guys, don't worry about a couple of pennies or price. You're basically really paying half that because you will get a copy on Pulsechain. That's true. And what else? Yeah, let's. There's a couple of comments here. Just maybe try not to do any fudding. It's always good to be critical, have critical comments, but try not to fud the chat. That's be appreciated. People are trying to lower my coin Hex. Yeah, the prices go up and down. So if the price is down today, it's just a better opportunity to get into there. As well. We probably should do some chain analysis on anyone that is selling, see whether they're selling for liquid loans or just selling into US dollars. Could be the case. Craig says, Game of Thrones reference, ignore my sense of humor. And The charity says sacrifice language scared a few people. I introduced, but when you do your research, opportunity over a lifetime. Yeah, it's probably not the best language, charity. That's YouTube doesn't like it. That's why I don't see me writing sacrifice anymore. I just write SAC because YouTube algorithm does not like that word. That's all I was going to say. Ivana says launch Pulse in a few months. Let's not launch in a bear market. I think sooner the better is Ivana is my point, and I don't think the market's quite down that low. We're going to talk about that at the moment. Vin's in house, Briz. Let's jump through some of this and almost. Ivana says, "Let's moon its peeps. PLS to the moon. PLX to your rain." Nice one there, Ivana. All right, Craig. What? Let's jump over through here. Precisely says someone just put 1 million in DAI in, so 4.2 million now. Let's go check that quickly. Apparently $1 million a DAI. Yes, you are right. $1 million a DAI went in there. We can see that in there now. Wow. Okay, that's impressive stuff there, folks. $1 million a DAI. And I'm not sure if we can actually see that on the chain. That's too many have come in since then. There's 1 million. Oh, there's 1 million DAI there. Very cool. Let's have a quick look at that. So come from this address here. Nice. What do they got in their bags? 1.5 million in DAI. So impressive. Impressive there from them. All right, cool. And we'll jump back there as well. And I'm going to there. All right, cool. So, well, that's just jumped $1 million just like that. Bam. All right, so hit that poll up, folks. Under 15 million, we've got 35 people, and we just got another $1 million in, so we're going to change that poll around. Craig Randall says Hex car didn't qualify for Daytona. Hopefully, we'll see it in some other races. Yeah, he's already racing for the 66. I think he's already came in decent position. That's JJ Yelly I'm talking about. I just watched a video of him earlier. It's got some different race with different sponsors in it. Solix is in the house. Morning, all. Good to see you, Solix. And Solix says, I'm a little bit disappointed that Sacrifice of Liquid Loans doesn't accept Hex. No, it doesn't, but someone did sacrifice Hex. You can see the Hex here. There are 3 people, I think, that sacrificed some Hex here. Do not do it, folks. Do not do it. And hopefully they do return it to the wallet. At least that'd be a nice gesture. It depends on how many people do it, right? So hopefully do not do it. It's only stable coins they're accepting. That's probably that. Mark says, block me because I have opinions. Yeah, it's not about opinions, just the way you construct the comments is probably the better way. We're a pretty open-minded channel on this channel. Hit the bell, smash the like, says Matt. Absolutely. Hey, good to see Matt in the chat, by the way. Dors says, Mark, you're just a hater that is trying to lower Hex currency. I'm not sure what. I actually haven't seen Mark's comments, so I don't know. I just have to let the moderators work on that. Hit the smash, the joker. Hey, Ivana, that's crazy. All right, here. Thanks, Briz. Says Dort. Let's get on to it. Hex, let's go to Hex, folks. Here we are. And we're going to go to the Hex price here. Boom. Here we are. So we have got a red candle. We were trying to have green candles on this channel every time we do a live stream, but of course we don't really control the market, but it's good for humor. Let's pick up also the heat map. We're going to pick that up as well. And let's see there. So at the moment, of course, we're at 16.6 cents, and we have not quite hit the support. We are just far away from it, but obviously we've been moving down towards it. So that's where we're at the moment. We're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, so we're going to remove the structure. We're definitely at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands there, and typically you ride those, maybe 2-3 times in a row. Sometimes you can get, extreme cases where you get 5, 7, 9 types of things, but that's definitely typically what we see. So we could have a nice little bounce off there, hitting it 3 times already. And then, of course, we pull back that here. We haven't hit the 16-cent support line yet. We certainly haven't hit the bottom of the support structure of the big diamond that we're in there at the moment. So at 15.5, 16 cents. So still not quite there, but it looks like it's heading towards there. So we'll see whether people stop selling that out at the moment. We've definitely gone below this low here that we hit here. So we have hit another low. So that's not positive from that point of view. But our last one that we went down was down this 12-cent mark. So let's see if we can stay in this triangle as well, and we'll see how we get on. We've got PulseX going. Obviously, we're just in the last couple of days, so 4 days or 5 days, I should say. So we're just going to count that down until we get to the end. And this could be, like I said, I think I said in the previous video that we might have a reasonably dead period in here until we get through this PulseX sacrifice. And that's what we've got the yellow there. So obviously the market's gone as well. Obviously we had liquid loans launch as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether any of these people actually sold down into stable coins to sacrifice for liquid loans, which is not which is quite believable. I think Brazolji made that point earlier, and maybe I was a little bit quick on that one, but that's possibly is the case. Once again, we could do some blockchain analysis to see whether that happened or not. In any case, obviously a cheaper price entry, right? Cheaper price entry for people get into, and if the price is easier. Also to get more T-shares, if you want to get T-shares, a lot cheaper to get your T-shares at the moment. So let's actually pull up the T-shares at the moment, what that's worth. We've got a Hex charts here. Don't you love those lovely field of flowers? Just gorgeous, isn't it? So a T-shirt at the moment, $3,488 at the moment. So definitely on the cheaper side at the moment. If you're wanting to pick up more T-shirts, like I say, that's for a day stake. But if you want to get effective bonus, you get 20% more Hex per year. So up to 3,641 days, you get 20% more per year, over 200, or basically 200%, and then you would be able to get a T-share, one T-share for about much cheaper than a T-share rate here of 20,000, almost 21,000. It really is quite crazy. Remember, this doesn't care what happens in the market. This is just going up, and it's going to go up at a steeper rate. So if you imagine the T-share rate going up like this at the moment, we're just down at the bottom. We're just down at the bottom of it. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure if you can see. We're just at the bottom of this big curve of the T-share rate. It really does start to ramp up over time. So whatever we're seeing now, that's just the beginning of what it's going to be looking like. It's going to be crazy. Cool. Let's jump out of that. And let's have a look at the DMI. We're going to have a check out. This is the picture we wanted to see. We want to see the buyers going up, the direction going up. We want to see the sellers' direction going down. We want the momentum to go up and over 25. What are we actually seeing at the moment? Obviously, we're seeing the sellers dominate. We're seeing the opposite picture at the moment, but we are seeing the momentum start coming up. But with the sellers' direction being in control at the moment. So we need to. The only quick way of getting out of this position is for a couple of days of letting it playing out, and then the whales to come in and start moving the price up. So that's probably what we're expecting. The RSI is moving down dramatically now. We're down to 33. So that means that once we do get a move on the upside, we've got the whole room to move. We've got the whole room to move. I don't even know what happened to my last comment. Did I put that up? Yeah. So we've got this. So we've got I don't know where I've got the yellow. Where did the yellow come from? I didn't put the yellow there. Let's get the yellow. So obviously, if we get down here, let's say we get down to here, we've got all the way to move up, right? So in any case, we can move up. We've got all the room. So if you want to, when you get bull run on, you want a lot of room to move on that, and that's what we've got. We're gonna have, it looks like pretty maximum room by the time we get there. If we get mucking around in this area here, which we could do possibly all the way through to the beginning of March. On that one. So cool. Let's have a look at Brazolji's forecast. Of course, Brazolji's forecast here is just up here on the 3rd of March. And let me just take away the banner. It's a bit of a pain in the way there. We got the Brazolji's one here, the 3rd of March. So we'd have to need a pretty serious ramp up for that. Let's go full screen. And of course, we're expecting this to happen at some stage. We just don't know where we're going to translate this big pump. It's going to come in at some stage, and typically it happens when people are really upset and the price goes down, right? So look at this chart here. We came down here. Look at this. People were pretty upset down here, right? And of course we got down to 12.3 cents. This is where I bought in here, right? So I ended up riding all the way up to the top here. So this is the thing. People get really upset here, and of course we just bounce off the bottom of the triangle there. Well, it actually helped form the triangle, so that's probably what happened. As I say, we got the triangle, but we did have a huge rally up there, and of course now we're getting this weakness in here as well, and we broke down to a lower low. So we really do have to find some support at 16 cents. Otherwise, we're down. Otherwise, we're down back down to where our previous support was. We break the triangle up, which is all pretty negative looking, and of course we'll get there. So hopefully we do hold support in this 14.6 to 16 cent mark here over the next few days, and we'll just have to wait and see what the market does. Let me jump out of here. I'm going to jump out of this focus here. Let's have a quickly go. I'm going to come back to the chart, to the trades. Let's go over to the market. So the market's had a nice little pullback, right? So ETH there is pulling down again 5 cents. It was up at $2,900. Was at the beginning of yesterday. So it's down again there, 2,679. Bitcoin's below 40,000. That's not great, right? We all know that's not great. 40,000 is a very psychological level. So the market generally is hurting a bit there. And obviously we've got the geopolitical risks around Ukraine. We've got lots of stuff, right? Lots of stuff. And hey, a lot of it's due to the people that are running the place now. And of course, many of us said this when it happened. When these people start running the place, this was the sort of stuff we're going to see, and we're seeing it. That's just no-brainer, right? For us that seem to have the right insights onto the way the world works, for example. This is just the way it's going to be. So here we are breaking down a bit. But once again, we probably could get a little bit of people selling some Hex to buy some altcoins if they think they're going to do better. You sometimes see that. But of course, here we've also got our own little pullback. So we've got to take that into account. Right, so we're at 16.6 cents at the moment. And I just want to look through... I just don't actually have the trades. Let's jump into the hourly first, and we'll get into that. So I'm jumping ahead of myself there. So let me just get out of that. We're going to get rid of the structure and pull that up. And let's pull that up at the moment. So yeah, just the last couple hours, just those last 2 hours, actually, we've seen a bit of volume in there. $500,000 in there. So we'll actually pull up the whale bot and see what we've had in a little wee while. Yeah, so we had there's the big sell, folks. That's really what did it. One account, just one account, right? So they sold 9.6 million Hex there. They got $1.5 million out of the pool. So that's all we needed is to get that. Now back to someone else's question about the total amount. We actually had the total amount of Hex in the pool at the end of today, which was about 5 hours ago. We had the amount of Hex in the pool. We had 200 million Hex in the pool. So if that's what you're talking about, Hex stock, that's how much we had in the pool there. On the Hex side, we still had $40 million. So someone just took down, $1.5 million out of this pool. It had almost $40 million in it. So that's gone down by that corresponding amount at least. But of course, there have been people buying back a bit. So just take that into account. Right, so that's where we've seen it. So let's go back out there in the last 3 hours. So let's scroll down. We can actually find that one there. There's I'm trying to find this the cell here. Not sure if I bypassed it actually. Yeah, I missed. I think I missed that one, haven't I? We're in 18, 17, 16. I think I'm after 16. So yeah, for some reason I can't see it. Sometimes it's a little harder to see stuff when you're on live stream. You don't quite pick it up as normally as you would. So yeah, my eyes are deceiving me a little bit there. All right, well, we looked at it on the whale bot, so we'll leave it there for that. I just can't see it for some reason. All right, so cool. Yeah, 9.6 million Hex sold. That obviously takes a hit at a particular market, especially when the market's pulled back a bit there on the price. Let us jump out of there. Let's get into the chat there and see what people are talking about. Since I last did my comment, I've got away. Where did I last have my comment? All the way up there. Wow. Let's have a look here. Door Shadow says, "How do I see all the transactions?" I'm not sure what you're talking about with that. If you're talking about the sacrifice for liquid loans, you can go into the tokens and see the transactions. You can hit the ESC20s. You can see all the transactions going into the sacrifice if that's what you're referring to. On the Hex chart, of course, you can go to the trade history if that's what you're referring to. The trade history here, you can check that out. What else we got? Mr. A says Hex charts. Let's go. I like that, Mr. A. How do I see all the SAC transactions for PulseX? I just PulseX. You go to the actual address on PulseX. So Pulse Leads, it's got a address that you have to sacrifice to, which is this one here. This one here. You just take that address and look on, put it into the ETH chain there. And if you want to look on the ETH chain, just make sure you do that on the Block Explorer. You just paste it into the search bar and you'll be able to see all the transactions. Obviously, if you want to see what's on the Binance Smart Chain, you have to flip it over to the Binance Smart Chain Explorer. Cool. What else we got going on there? Ivana says that chart is nearly as ugly as BTC. It's going to be a nasty month, chaps. Waiting for the relief rally before we go lower. And love Hex win lots of green candles and love Hex win lots of red candles. Win-win, says Browning. Like it. That's right. So, as Richard Hart says, the chart's not immune to ups and downs, and that's what we're seeing. Definitely changed though. Typically, we've had highs like every 6 months. I think we're kind of in into the 5th month, so we've got a month to go. Try and get a new high, but we have the fundamentals to do that. As I said here, we've got these fundamentals to play out, so still got time for that. And Michael says, trying to buy DAI. All my fiat off ramps have changed. Looks like it's all more complicated. RH needs to make us simple, folks, says Michael. And Charity says, go Hex, come on. Yeah, absolutely. And what else we got going on here? We got Brazology says, expect a huge pump but at the end of the month, says Brazology. I think you're right there, Brazology, in that camp too. What else we got going? Craig Waiting says, I agree. In the sacrifice, OA sacrifice period from there until launch. Yeah, probably a few days after the sac, right? After sacrifice, that kind of makes sense to me. Period from launch. Nothing to do but buy Hex for double. Should pump. Yeah. So what happens at the moment with this price at the chart at the moment is that because of the red candles, people get fear, right? They sell out. The plebs sell out. And then, of course, if whales decide to start coming in now, they're happy with the price where it is, because they're going to defend the price. And of course, we've got Uniswap version 3 has a lot of liquidity on bid support on one side. I don't think that's changed since we saw it last. I think we're still up at the same amount. So still got that bid support. Obviously, that's been eaten up a little bit, but it's still sitting there quite nicely. All right. So what else we got going? Door Shadow says, but if I sacrifice Hex into Pulse, I get a major reward if you do. You get the Pulse. Well, you won't get Pulse. You said don't sacrifice into Pulse because you're not going to get anything for that at the moment. You definitely want to sacrifice your Hex into Pulsechain. What else we got? Ivana says Hex has broke a critical level. Not nice. Well, we're actually you're kind of right there, but we do have support at 16 cents. So, and if I'm correct, Pulse has $900 and millions in sac points. It's over $600 million last time I checked. Brazology says the charts are not some animal that changes behavior when it's puberty. It's all about people hitting the buy and selling buds. Yeah. Well, people probably the fact is that once we let me get the Hex chart. Once we get this game on, let me go back to daily. Once we we've had a lot of these. Let me scroll down. That looks terrible. All right, so let's pull this up again. And I got to scroll that back up. I think that's better. That looks better. All right, so when it gets like this, people always start getting upset, right? People got upset back here. If you remember, people got upset back here. People got upset back here. So the green recoveries happen. So if you're new to the game, probably this is quite upsetting to you. But if you're playing the long game, you just got to just hold your horses there. It's a price opportunity. I'll probably be picking some up after the live stream. So I'm picking up some Hex probably. Pretty close to this. I'll probably hold off just a little bit, but I'm almost there. All right, so cool. Matt and Barley says different topics. Sorry, but loved Richard Hart podcast on Twitter yesterday. He's straight to the point. Directors sometimes coming across a bit of a badass, but it's nice to be told the truth. No beating around. Yeah, we actually covered that, Matt, in yesterday's live stream. And of course, posted a video for that chat, so that's definitely available. And yesterday's daily vid, we had the vid link, so definitely in there. And he was definitely his classic self there. What we call it, Richard Unchained or Richard Unleashed, something like that. That's the kind of the classic Richard. Not the early Richard when we first had the early Richard when he used to stand up with the tall hats in the videos. If you guys have seen that, if you haven't seen that, check out Richard's channel. Go to the very first videos. He's wearing his tall hat and he's giving some good advice on YouTube there. From the early days. He definitely looks a bit younger there, of course, as we all did probably if we look back at videos that long ago. Ivana says you can't expect RH to spend his money to prop up the price on Hex. We don't have any expectations at all, Ivana. We have no expectations of the work of others. Craig says, wonder if it was the same person. Someone sell 1.5 million Hex shortly after. Someone sacrificed 1 million DAI for LL. Would make sense. Yeah, well, that's probably worth just following the chains there. Let's go to do that. Let's check it out. Since you brought it up, we're going to do it. Let's go to XWowBot, and that's what we're going to do. Let's go have a look, see where they've gone. Hopefully we can actually see that. I'm not even sure we can actually on that one. There's a proxy exchange. That's no good. Oh well, that's not going to be much luck for us, is it? That's useless. That is all right. I'm sure that's the same one. No, that's not one. Oh, that's a dead end, wasn't it? Maybe it was. Maybe it was. You have to go the other way. So the die address. Let's have a look on the die address. Let's go through the other way. See where we can find it that way. Here we are, folks. There it is. All right. So 1.6 looks like that's the case. Looks like that's the case. Okay. All right. So that does look like you're right on that there, Craig. And that also makes Brazology right as well. So there we are. We did get some hex selling into that from the looks of it. Cool. And then where's that coming from? US to dollar coins. You swap the exchange proxy. Yeah, that does look to be the case there. Oh well. Cool. Let's jump back out of there and we'll go back in time. All right, cool. There's a bit of detective work. All right, so Prince of Pulse says, at what point is Hart's law proven true or correct? Can't deny prices correlating the last 6 months, the next 2-3 months, vital in my opinion. Yeah, there's some, I think the Hart's law is mostly true. My criticism of the Hart's law is that if your price stays up and everything else goes down because you got US dollars, and is that you can then buy more of the other stuff, right? The only counter to that is the fact that if the market is going down on a downtrend, then you're just going to lose value as soon as you swap over into that anyway. So it's kind of the counter to that. But at the moment, of course, the price is moving down, probably with the lull as well, the lull in the market. But we've got this, as we said, we just saw, but part of our red candle was to do with the fact that someone sold down Hex into DAI to sacrifice for liquid loans. So that goes back to what Brazology said, and it actually did impact the price. What else we got? Jump around there. Let's go back into Vin says, never doubt Hex when it's time. Hex will pump so hard the haters will cry. They will cry, Vince. That's what I'm talking about. Just stay cool, stay calm, stay peace out, all that, because if you don't trust the system, then if you, as I said, Richard Hart's projects are the gold standard, and once again, do your due diligence, but you're going to see that play out. Remember, yeah, that's the war chest. There's all sorts of stuff in the game, but there's also the responsibility of the community to get out there and promote the project, no matter what happens with the price. The price is going to go up and down. What happens? You've got to do that, right? So here we've got the price chart looking like this, right? It's you've got to just keep it with the roses. You've got to keep the faith, as it were. We know a lot of people have sold out on the downs, and they regret it after it pumped up. A lot of people sold back when it was at 1 cent. When it was 1 cent down here, they sold out, and man, they cried their way because it ended up going to 52 cents. So that people miss out on stuff all the time. Got to be careful with that. So the sentiment here, this is just either an opportunity to buy or just stay cool. Just don't do nothing, which is typically the best strategy. Kim says, liquid loans, you let you spend your staked Hex, right? It will actually hurt Hex price. No, you're not supposed to sacrifice Hex, but some people are selling their X into USDC or DAI or something like that to sacrifice. That's what's happening there. That doesn't actually accept Hex on the sacrifice officially. But, you can't stop people selling their X into USDC for the sacrifice. Young Kim says, okay, thank you. What else we got going? Let's jump over here. There's quite a few comments. I'm just not trying to respond to the people that responded to other people. Sam says, when Pulsechain launch, you think Hex price will be dumped? Same like the big payday. Actually, I think there's so many people coming onto Pulsechain that are going to end up finding out about Hex and end up buying Hex. But of course, it's going to be volatile at the beginning. Hex on ETH might have more volatility. It's going to be interesting because there's a counter argument to that, and that's the APY on Hex on ETH versus Hex on PLS. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. Definitely going to be volatile. Brazil says, if Liquid Loans does a simple 5x, it's like trading your 20-cent Hex for $1 of Liquid Loans. That's true. And Brendan says, just a quick question about my cold wallets. If I'm removing my account, so doesn't it bug out having two on MetaMask? Will I get a copy of both wallets if one is disconnected. Well, it's on the blockchain, Brenton. It's on the blockchain. Should be no issue there. You're getting a copy on the Pulsechain. Basically, you have to just switch over to Pulsechain, and you'll see your copy of your Hex or whatever ERC20s you've got on the other chain, or smart contract or other contracts that you've got will get copied over there. It's on the blockchain, so it should be no problem. Matt and Barley says 68 likes, 72 watching. Only 4 more come on, folks. Like it's pump at your bags. Support the channel. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, normally I do an hour and 20. I'm actually up to probably my third longest live stream, which is an hour and 45. This is going pretty good. I am having fun though. And it's a great community in the chat, so why not? Cool. What else we got going? Brownie says stake hodl sleep. That's the way. That's the way I like it. And that's what Richard says. Don't trade. Just hold your bags. Let the price do its thing. Its dance over time. We've got Pulsechain coming up, folks. We've got PulseX coming up. It's mad crazy. We're going to have a lot of fun for sure. Like I said to you, I'll be looking for a price entry. I am tempted at the current price, but I'll just wait a little bit longer to see whether it does something else. Brendan says Papa Bona insisted not having multiple wallets up in the interface of MetaMask, but worried I won't get copies on both of them if there's not a interface. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're having issue there with Brenton. Join Liquid Lines referral program here, says Brownie. And Door Shadow says, okay, thanks, Brownie. Legend says Door Shadow, yeah. 70, 72, 71. All right, cool. All right, so up to the comments there. Feel good about that. Let's end the vote. We've got 117 votes. Can you believe it? That's so good. So we had a community tab poll. We've checked that. That looks really good. And we're going to close this poll here and see what the final results on the end poll. Let's go check that out. It's going to pop up. See you in a second. If you're a Hex Token channel member, smash those emojis. If you're not a Hex Token channel member, hit the join button, become a Pulsechain, Hexkin, or a Richard Hart Club. That would certainly help the channel as well. All right, we're going to post some of those. Bam, bam. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, cool. What else we got there? We've got Craig Wadding's got some nice little post there with the emojis. Nice. Brendan says, thanks, Hex Token. You've answered my question. It's all on the blockchain. It is. You just switch over between. As I said, you just need to add the Pulsechain when it goes live on your MetaMask, and you'll be able to switch over between chains and so forth. So if you're used to switching over between Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum, or Polygon and Ethereum, or all sorts of other chains, you can do that. There's so many now, ETH compatible chains that you can do that on MetaMask. All right, cool. That's the final results. How much USD will be sacrificed for the liquid loans? I don't even think I can actually show this on the chat. No, I can't. We've got under 15 million, 35%. So that's just over 1 in 3 people think that it's going to be under 15 million, I should say. 15 to 30 million, 27%. So just under 1 in 3 think it's going to be between 15 and 30 million, which I think is a pretty good range. Just depends on how many big millionaires are out there, right, that are keen on liquid loans. Over 45 million, 22%, which is just over 1 in 5, which is actually, that's pretty bullish. And I actually was probably in that camp a little while ago. I was probably in the one and over 45 million. We've got 30 days to go. We're in day 1. We're at about 4.2 million. So, you know, we could get, I don't know if we're going to do that amount every day. You know, we'll probably have a big amount and then slowly taper off, maybe like that. And it's going to be interesting to see how much. Obviously, a lot of people still don't even know that it's open. So that's probably one case. 34 to 45 million, 15%. So that's 15% there. So, you know, that's not too bad. That's 1.5 people in 10 or something like that. So how would I think? I think that's probably, where do I think it's going to be? That's a good question. Am I bullish? Am I bullish? I think we could, we've got 30 days. I think we could do 30 mil. I think we could do, we might be in that third tier, that 15%. We might be in there. If not, then definitely, I think, yeah, I'm not sure we'll get over 45. I'm not sure, unless there's some big whales out there that are going to throw in 10 mil, something like that. I just don't know about that. We've got 7 whales on PulseX over 10 mil, excluding Bitcoin. So, yeah, we could get a lot of stuff, a lot of people doing 500,000 possibly. We had 112 million in the, maybe 112, 114 millionaires in the PulseX. So, yeah, Yeah, I think maybe 15 to 30 or 30 to 45, probably somewhere in there. I definitely think we'll probably beat 15, mate, even though 35% said under 15. We've got 10 days go before the rate goes up by 5%. So yeah, pretty interesting. Let's see how it goes, folks. It's a good poll though. It's gives some good ideas there. I like it. And thanks for voting, everybody. Of course, we had 118 people vote, so thank you very much. Craig Wadding says, hits the like button. It supports the channel. Absolutely does. Smash the subscribe button. And I think we've read some of those. Vince got the fire burns on there. Brendan says, it doesn't have to be MetaMask interface to revive copy of shares. Yeah, absolutely. It's all on the blockchain, folks. If you have your keys, you will get a copy. Doesn't matter if it's loaded in MetaMask or not. That's right. 38 Gwei right now. Good time to buy a stake. Yeah, so if you want to buy, the swapping is really good at 38 Gwei. And, of course, if you need to unstake something, maybe you've got a stake matured, 38 Gwei is really, really good. So what's that at 44 at the moment? So it moves around, but it's definitely down the low end, right? Because they used to be over 100 all the time, remember? It was just ridiculous, especially for unstaking. If you wanted to restake, very expensive. Brennan says, awesome to Cryptomatic. And Brownie says, tomorrow is not guaranteed to anybody. No expectations, no disappointments. Thanks, Hex Token. Great show. I appreciate that. Now in 15 minutes, folks. Looking pretty good. Hey, we're going to keep going for another 10 minutes. If you want to hang around, we're going to just generally do general stuff. So very, very cool. If you have any questions about T-shares, people love T-shares stuff. It does take, I think, for people to get their heads around T-shares. I remember day one of, was it 2nd of December, 2019, when the AA lobby opened. Man, it was so exciting. I think Pulsechain, probably the biggest thing. And when it launches, it's probably going to be the first thing that really eclipsed that first day of the AA lobby. That was a brand new kind of idea back then. And man, it was exciting. And people FOMO'd in on the day. It was pretty crazy. I'm just trying to remember how much ETH it was in there. I think it was 21,000 or something. It was a lot of ETH in that day. And of course, it was valued rather cheap back then. I'm trying to remember what, maybe it was $200 an ETH at that stage. Can't remember now. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. I remember when, of course, the bit of the price crash happened. That went down to like $92, $93 ETH from that point of view. And it was at about February or March 2020. And I think the price went down that stage. So pretty crazy prices of ETH at that stage. So nice on that. All right, let's have a look at the thing. So yeah, ETH has fallen. This is pretty key. This is the big worry now. Bitcoin can keep sliding now. If it doesn't recover over 40K within 24 hours, that is a big worry right there. That's a big worry. Let's bring up investing. We'll bring up investing.com and see what actually happened to the markets. We're on the weekend, of course. The markets are closed. Just trying to think of what the market's closed at. So the Dow Jones closed at 34,000. It was down, not 0.68%. It's the real problems. We're expecting probably a 20% correction in the markets with the Fed Reserve, especially if it does a lot of stuff. So cool, nice on that. So cool. What else we got going? Fed oil, yeah. So let's have a look at the commodities, how they finished. Commodities oil finished at 93, so it's very high on the oil, and obviously the Iranian stuff's falling off there with the Iranian sanctions, and then of course the markets were all kind of red, but not badly, but just down on that as well. 34,000 still holding up okay, but man, if we get a 10% correction, 20% correction. That's going to happen all suddenly. We're starting to get tremors now. When you start to get tremors after it's had such a massive rise up. So if you look at the Dow Jones on the max screen, you've had all this big rise. You start to get tremors. This is when you start to get a bit worried, especially after the huge run up look. So that's what the big worry. That's why it's different now than it was, say, back here. Because back here you could say, oh yeah, we could still run up more, but now because 30,000 was always in view. So when I remember it was back down at this area here, and I said, someone said, where do you think Mark's going? I said, it's easily over 30,000, and they laughed at me at the time. But of course, it's smashed 30,000. We've had the all time on the Dow of 36,338 there from the looks of it. And of course, that's where it went because it was pretty obvious to me when we had good management. This guy was running the place. We actually, even if you hated his tweets, he was doing an amazing job at running everything. And now, of course, look, we're getting red markets, interest rate rises, inflation, and everything else, and world crisis because no one's all the wildcats are out of the bag. So it's going to be pretty crazy like that. All right, cool. Let's go out of there. As we're at, man, it's pulling back. Woohoo! It's a good thing I moved a lot of my stuff into stable coins. It's I'm pretty happy about that. So cool. That's why I'm ready. I'm ready to buy some X. Got some stable coins. So that's the way you want it. You want to do your financial management. A couple of the key principles. If you're particularly new to crypto, you want to have a diversified portfolio. You don't have too much stuff. You want to have things that you think are highly probable going to be unicorns. That means get over $1 billion worth. And of course, you want to get to the very best, and Richard Hart stuff is very much the best projects in crypto, right at the top, the gold standard, as I call them. And of course, I think there's probably a couple hundred good projects, and I think the rest are rubbish. But I think that this is very much at the top, the golden one. So you want to have a little bit of diversity, but you don't want to have too many projects, maybe half a dozen at tops. And then, of course, you want to try and get the unicorns. And, of course, you've got to have good understanding of the timings of when things are going to be delivered. That's not always easy, right? So, obviously, software is difficult, especially for doing, Pulsechain and stuff, and getting that all up and running. Takes a bit of effort, like 9 months, maybe a year, that kind of thing. So you got that into play. And then, of course, you also want to have some risk management, right? So you want to have some stable coins. You want to keep a certain percentage of yourself stable there. You also want to be able to buy the opportunities when the market does do the dips. So there's a couple of basic stuff that you want to do. You also want to take advantage of the compound features as well, depending on what you're invested in. So, yeah, way to go there. All right, cool. That is a couple of little tips there on the way up. Tyler M says, I always get skeptical about any project that turns its YouTube comments off. I'm not sure who did that. You mean for the launch? They only did that for the launch video for Liquid Loans, probably just to keep it calm there. All the rest of their videos have comments on them. I did notice that myself there, Tyler. Bitcoin Beefy in the house. Hello, yeah. Hey, Bitcoin Beefy. Big shout out. Whoop, whoop. Good to see you as well. And Bitcoin's good times are coming to us all. They are. This is the thing. So this price here, this is what trips people out. And we have this candle, this daily candle does have Liquid Loans impact on it. We just saw that with the 1 million die. That definitely, they sold down more, about 1.6 million. Mr. A says sacrifice, less sacrifice would only mean less supply, and people will FOMO in a year or two later for the loan token and push price up even more. So either way, it's a win-win. Yeah, I see it a big win. I think Liquid Loans going to do very well as in the Pulsechain ecosystem because of all the benefits that we've talked about before, super cheap, super fast, the rest of it. And of course, a lot of people want to use the product as actually a use case. You don't have to sell your PLS. You can, buy more, that sort of thing. Obviously, if you are going to do that, my suggestion is you do 1,000% collateral. That's 10%, borrowing 10%. That's the safest way to do that. Corey Klein says, I want to be locked in with the T-share price, but I'm having a hard time deciding how long to stake for two reasons. One, I am 47. Two, option for staking with the PHEX. Yeah, well, obviously if you do staking with Hex, you're going to get a copy on Pulsechain. At the moment, the Gwei is pretty cheap, 30 to 50 Gwei. So that's probably reasonable to do. Obviously, the longer you stake, though, the unstake fees on ETH are going to get much higher. The other thing, of course, there's no big payday now. So you're going to get the average rates about 38%, give or take. And plus you get penalties on top of that. So 47. So yeah, if you're healthy as well is the other thing, how healthy you are. And of course, what do you want to directly benefit from it? Or is it something your family would benefit from? Those are some of the other things to take into account. So Brownie's given a thing, I'm 52 and have 555 stakes. Yeah, so that's one thing to do. The other thing is you could stake at the average period, of course, or you could stake just past the average period. So you get a pretty good effective amount, 20% more hex per year for the T-share. So you get that benefit. And you also will get all the penalties of people early unstaking. So you get part of the access to the big paydays. I always say that as the US dollar goes up, of the hex price, more people will unstake out that are further out there. So maybe 2025 could be a brilliant year, is what I'm expecting, somewhere in that ballpark. 25, 26 could be a brilliant year for early in-stake penalties, and therefore you'll be capturing a lot of the big paydays that those people captured, and of course 50% will go to the stakers. So that's really benefit. So you could do that. So you got a couple options. You could do a staking ladder, but I wouldn't make your stakes too small. You want to make it economic in case there'll be the fees. But the other thing, of course, ETH 2.0 will give some benefit probably, but it's hard to quantify it. So you could do a staking ladder. Don't do your stakes too small. You will get a copy on Pulsechain. And so that's one thing you can think of. The other thing, of course, you can just wait for Pulsechain, but you just don't know what the price is going to be, right? So the price will probably get, if it's a stock split, will half No one really knows where it's going to lie. But let's say it just halves the price. So it's 16 cents now. That's 8 cents on Pulsechain. You'll be able to buy, with your dollar amounts, the same amount that you'd have on ETH, and then just stake it on Pulsechain. So once people just don't know, but once again, you are going to get the copy on ETH Hex there. So I would, if you're worried about the age issue, then you could stake around them, just past the mean, say, which is 6.2 years. So you could just stake just past that, or you could do a staking ladder over the 15-year period. Just note that in the future, right? So some things to think about there. Hope that helps as well. I'm going to, was it Corey says, I'm going to live to 130. Well, yeah, you could do, you could probably do a lot of 15-year stakes, and that's the case as well. Very cool. What else we got there? Brownie says, I also have a few stakes coming out every year for the next 15 years. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And Corey says, I thought about starting with a 555, then keep doing new stakes over time for different years. Yeah, I just wouldn't do amounts too small, is my only question about that. But definitely staking ladders, that's what it's designed for, so that you've got money coming out at different periods of time. That is Hex is designed for. It's designed, you can do the max stake strategy. That is mathematically the best thing. So even doing 10 years is great, but doing 15 years, you make so much your return in that the last 5 years, it's huge. But I'm also arguing that you're going to make a lot with the penalties, and that's not often taken into a calculation with the actual shares, like the actual returns itself with the Hex per T-share payout. On top of that, you get penalties. So not only do you earn the inflation, but you earn the penalties, and I think the penalties are going to be really quite large in 25, 26 as a function of the US price. So whenever that occurs, a lot of those 10-year stakes will have been over 50%. They'll be able to early unstake, and that penalties will go to stakers that are longer, that stay staked or longer staked. And of course, the longer you stake, the more T-shares you have. See, it all works in longer, always pays better, pretty much. And Charity says, oh, so when you stake, your T-share price is locked. That's correct. So your T-share price gets locked in at the day you stake. The T-share rate's only going up and to the right. So it's only going up, and up, and it's going to go up at a steeper rate. It's going to go really up really high. If you can see all that thing. Maybe I'll get back here up that way. I'm trying to look on it. Looks so funny on the camera. All right. So Gene says, I'm 71 and having a staking ladder on another 8 years. Yeah, that's pretty good, Gene. It's pretty good. 8 years. That's a good period. Very, very cool. We're up to 2 hours. I think it's pretty good, folks. We did a 2-hour live stream. Can you believe it? Hey, thanks to everybody for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. There's definitely a price opportunity here, as we said. 16 cents is the support line, down to 15.6 cents. So 15.6 to 16 cents is kind of the support line on the charts that we've showed with the triangle and with the horizontal support. So just looking out for that. And of course, part of this red candle was formed by somebody sacrificing for the liquid loans today, a big amount. So we'll see how much that plays out over the next couple of days. Kind of expecting that at some stage, probably maybe a couple of days after PulseX, the price will start to go up. And then people that sold down and are out of the market will, they'll regret it. That's pretty much what's going to happen. And I don't know, the market's definitely weaker. You can see it getting weaker here. So we just got to play that out as well. Very cool. It's a good thing that Hex is, 85% in USD as well. I think that gives us, does give us Hart law support in the price. Craig says a big shout out there. We've got the Hex. Oh man, Brown, you killed it with the old emojis there. That's for sure. Nice one. All right. So thanks for watching. Let me just sign out here, folks. And thanks for what we're going to check out the liquid loan sacrifice one more time before we leave, and the PulseX one as well, just before we go. Why not? It is Sunday after all. Thanks for watching, and let's go check out the update. Let's do an update of PulseX totals. This is just on ETH chain. They had about 220,000 on Binance Smart Chain. So they're sitting at about $4.5 million so far, and of course they've got probably about 6-7 hours to go before the first day. So that's a very good result from them. That's ETH and Binance Chain. And let's have a look at PulseX just for finally. Let's do an update. We're at 48,000 on there. Where we up now? 48,000. So we added almost 30,000 since we last updated and it did our coverage on the live stream. So another 30,000. Very, very cool. All right. Hope you enjoyed that one. I'm going to post some emoji if you're a Hex Token channel member. post those emojis on the way out because it's really cool. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, hit the join button. And of course, you've got Pulsechains, Hexkins, Richard Hart. Those are the 3 membership types. Very, very cool. If you want to get into liquid loans, get your referral code. There's a link in the video description. Get a 5% bonus, plus you get your own referral code and get out there and spread the word. I think it's a pretty good project. Not investment advice. Do your own due diligence. No expectation of the work of others. You heard it here. Of course, Superman, your host. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Take care out there. Really do. Woohoo!